Just listen what's called the years, the word of the guy who was hated by the god of failure. Just lean.
Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Talk to Me About, the Guilty Gear podcast where we talk about your faves and why you love them. I'm your host, Dee. Hello. I'm here with my co-host, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
And today, we are here to talk about Mr. Perfecto himself, Johnny Guilty Gear, previously Spondy, but not anymore, because that was an incorrect last name, I think.
Now his last name will be yours when you marry him.
Oh my god.
Speaking to the general viewer, not specifically D.
Well, I mean, I'll take him. Get out of here, Jay. I don't need you. Have any time, Jay.
Sorry. I'm gonna say you're robbing Lissa.
But, Johnny is, of course, a classic Guilty Gear character, been here since the start, top one in most of these games, sometimes mid-tier, sometimes not, but a staple nonetheless. Throwing coins, throwing cards, slashing you with mist finders, killing your ass, looking cool doing it. And, I'm glad to have some people... Yeah. Sorry, I just realized I was playing.
You were just so in the flow state.
Before.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've never...
You've become the Johnny.
I forgot he's got unblockables and shit, this is impossible. Oh yeah, but I'm here with 4 incredible guests, along with Jay. So let me start by introducing them. First up, a previous guest who's been here before, Jaden. Hi, Jaden.
Hello, I love Guilty Gear, I make fan fiction, and I love analyzing the characters. I love this game a lot.
Shilling Twin Fates, if you haven't read it, go read it.
Yeah, I still kind of like it, but like, yeah, no. Go read it.
No, come on! The last chapter will come out one day, I believe.
One day, sure, please. After like, what, 10 months, 12 months?
That's
a year?
You know what, you're just letting it cook.
Sure, letting it fizzle.
But you've been a Johnny main for quite a while, and I remember when you first started and you were texting me that you were going into your brackets and stuff and you were kind of nervous, and it's really cool seeing your Johnny progress since then.
Yeah, admittedly, I have, gotten a little bit rusty, a lot rusty. I haven't touched this game in a while, but I still love to play this game, and I still love Johnny a lot.
Yeah, between what, Monster Hunter World and now Limbus Company, it's just like...
Oh my gosh, not even Monster Hunter. I've gone into Elden Ring, I got into Monster Hunter, Armored Core, and now it's Limbus and Library of Arena.
I'm sorry, did I just try to air tech that and I got air thrown and put back into the corner with...
Yes.
Oh my god. This character's fucking nutty.
Hey, I dropped the combo, so
Thanks.
that's on me.
But next up, of course, we have Exerd Legend Zwei, hi, who's kicking my ass right now.
Hello, I am the Zwynot. I play the Jonathan Guilty Gears. You may have seen me TO the Burbank local Goldburst. You may have also seen me play the video game on stage at majors sometimes, who knows. I love this character. I've been playing him since Rev 2. Rev 2 was actually probably the first fighting game that I decided to take seriously. Don't do that.
I always get panicked.
And just Johnny's so cool, dog. I love this character.
It's kind of hard not to. He is just Mr. Cool in every respect.
He's every aspect of him is cool on its own. And when combined, usually doesn't make something cool, but he's so cool.
It's so cool that he's trying so hard, and also not at all,
damn
actually.
Damn it, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. Alright, important lesson. Hit all 4 buttons again. Right. You only activate IK mode on the ground if you have...
No, I was not trying to activate IK mode. It's just in Strive I have that button set to FD, so I was trying to FD the whole time, but...
Just press 2 buttons and hold back. Like a normal person. You don't need macros, dog.
Yeah.
Old person game.
We got hands. We got buttons.
You want me to sprint in this game by double tapping?
You don't want to be really cool and do highly technical things like the Johnny main you are.
Fucking what? Like, invest like 100 hours of execution?
to FD, to FD without
FD.
background. 100 hours in the lab. I finally know how to fucking Roman cancel.
I'm climbing Mount Everest to FD. But yeah, that silliness aside, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Next up is first-time guest Lissa. Hi, Lissa.
Hello. So, I'm the person Johnny Cork bothers when they don't know the lore. I don't know what else to word that as.
Resident Johnny Hermit.
I'm like the lore keeper. Shit.
Yeah,
I don't know what
you-
to do about that.
Got your big old dusty Johnny tome that you blow off every time somebody asks you a question.
The Johnny Tome is just like a Burger King menu. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, I was really hoping it was like incredibly heavy. You're like slamming it down on the ground in front of your
Nah.
shrine.
It is
Hey, Lissa.
insane to me that you can be all the way across the stage like that and then get a low off my feet and launch me into a full combo. That is so
What is this
nuts.
why? What is
Just
this why?
earn.
Yes. Did Johnny actually take on an army of Justice clones?
He took on one Justice clone, I'm pretty sure. Army, I'm not sure about, but he has definitely taken on a Justice clone in canon.
For someone who's not a gear,
That's
that's still
nuts.
kind of madly impressive.
He's
He
just
doesn't
a
even
regular
use
human,
magic.
like.
He's just
His
a
art-
guy.
It's in his arcade mode in Pulsar.
Mm-hmm.
Boss, he fights a Justice Clone. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Looks like it
I
falls
wanna-
on me to amend that.
I wanna like put him into a compendium and like, press him like a flower. I don't know.
Preserve your beautiful Johnny Cash face forever.
What was the one tweet where it's like straight people, oh, you're cute, thanks, I think you are too, and then it's like gay people, and it's like, I wanna crush you, I wanna squeeze you, I wanna be a bee with you.
Hold this unblockable.
Oh my God. What do you do?
Either dead angle the Zweihander or blitz the Zweihander. Good luck.
That is a good bit of advice for counterplaying Johnny. Good luck.
He'd probably say that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Very in
So,
character.
I'm very familiar with Johnny's offense, but what is Johnny's defense looking like?
Not
What are
great,
his options?
actually. IB backdash 5k on larger gaps. That's my name is a reversal because it is full invuln and goes surprisingly far. Other than that, you have to rely on system mechanics and his 7 frames invuln, 11 frames duration backdash.
How good is that backdash in this game?
Very. Like,
Okay.
this is
The honest
this
backdash.
backdash is insane.
But yeah, sorry, I got off topic. Thank you, Lissa. And also, I support your beautiful love with Johnny.
Thank you.
And last but not least, ACPR plus R legend, Raze. Hi, Raze.
Hello, my name's Race, formerly Wing Zero. I've been playing Johnny in Plus R since 2017. Won a few locals, top 8 a few majors. Johnny's so cool, I'm happy I picked him up and stuck with him.
What made you pick him up initially?
He was cool. He looked really cool. He diddy Ido, he threw coins, he made things go boom, and I didn't understand how. Senga is probably one of the coolest moves in fighting game history, along with I forget what the move Tsubama Gaishi. It's inspired by Tsubama Gaishi from Samurai Showdown. It's a very fast 14 frame overhead where it happens so fast, but he throws a bottle. You see it in Strive too, but it's a lot faster in Plus R. He throws the bottle and he cuts it in a giant.
It lights it
Yeah.
on fire.
And, yeah, like that is the one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and like he either like yells it or he just says it really smooth. He's like, Senga. Just like, yep, this is the character I'm going to play.
The
First
fact that he
fighting
doesn't
game
have that
low.
in this game is the one. It's the one bad thing about Johnny in this game. He doesn't have Senga.
Jamie, can you play some Johnny for a bit so I don't look completely silly?
He has
Yeah,
a
of
Hunter.
course.
He has sauce.
Get in there, I have to spectate. I feel silly. Sanbari T for T is a good name.
Thank you.
I think that it's
I-
wonderful that
Oh, so sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna say, I think that it's wonderful, Riz, that as a very prominent Johnny player, that one of the most compelling things towards making you want to play him to begin with is just the fact that he's fucking cool. Because like, what could be better, right? Like that's just so prototypically Johnny. It's very deep, and at the same time doesn't need to be deep at all. Just matter of fact, he's a cool ass motherfucker.
Johnny is a character that is so obsessed with his own appearance and how he looks, and specifically presenting as cool as possible, that it's kind of hard not to buy into that and like his whole aesthetic.
No, I think I was saying before that it's amazing how cool he is with how hard that he's trying, and also not at all, actually.
I think
I want to put him under a microscope.
I think it's cool because he appeals to that side I think that every person has, where like they think they're the coolest MF on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And he has that. Like it's, I don't know. I admire that so much about him. Like the posing, the way he speaks. Like I don't know, the way he carries himself. It inspires me a lot.
I feel like part of the appeal for Johnny is that, on one hand, he is just as cool as he looks. He is Mr. Top One. He will be doing all kinds of crazy ass shit on the screen. The Iato is so cool where it's like, anime ass, like lightning fast swords play. He's always adjusting the hat and the glasses. Like, he's just the epitome of cool. And on the other hand, I also think he has the like Johnny Bravo appeal where it's like, oh, this guy's clearly trying as hard as possible, but it's kind of cute in a way.
My friend sends me this picture where it's like, it's Johnny Bravo, but he's dressed as Johnny, and May's he always sends me that picture on my birthday. He's like, happy birthday, and I'm like, this picture.
Wait, I know what you're talking about. Was that by Zakishi Alice?
I don't know who the artist is. But it's really well done.
Let me get the archives out. Shit. It was Zakishi Alice.
It's funny too, because I think Johnny Bravo also has the little girl that he hangs around with, and it's like, oh yeah, that's May.
Yeah.
We don't have a mom though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that could be you, loyal viewer.
We'll get to that later.
Oh my lord.
Johnny's relationship with women is very interesting.
Yeah, that is a way to put it.
Microscope
okay.
once again.
We love Isekai Johnny Bravo in this house.
He's like if Johnny Bravo and Samurai Jack finally hooked up and had that baby, man. He's just their love child. That laundromat led to places, and the place it led to was Johnny Gear.
So, I didn't mention it at the start, but this is actually the second time that I'm recording this. I know, looking behind the curtain a little bit too much here, but I fucked up with the 10 minutes of recording audio that I had. So I had mentioned this before, but I want to bring it up again. Norio Wakamoto is a perfect voice actor for Johnny. Like, I don't think they could find anyone that's better than him. Like, I think he's got that perfect grizzly coolness going on.
I think every Johnny voice reflects like a different bit of him. Norio Wakamoto is that untapped coolness. Let's see. Liam O'Brien fits in with the spaghetti western aesthetic that he's going for. And then there's Kwok Young Sung, who is just smooth as butter. Oh,
I have never heard his Korean voice actor.
It is so smooth. I was swooning.
I've only ever heard Korean Eno because that's when I watched Naru Eno.
I'm glad that each voice actor has that capacity to make you swoon, but just for a different reason. I think that is very central to Johnny as a character.
I always felt like his English voice always gave him the impression that he's like a little younger than his other versions. Or maybe it's just because Norio Wakamoto is just so damn old.
Norio Wakamoto's in his 70s.
Sounds the youngest. Like, Korean sounds the youngest, and Liam O'Brien, I think, could pass for a 36 to 42-year-old man if he was just a little more rougher with it. And then Norio Wakamoto's out here. Shit.
I was gonna bring this up too, but I think it's insane that there was for the Patchy Slot game they had a concept of Johnny with a full beard where they were really gonna go all in with aging him up, and then they ended up just doing regular Johnny, and then for Exert he came out and he's regular Johnny, and then for Strive they offered the alt palette where you can give him the beard for every color. I thought that was so sick. I think the beard itself is modeled a little weirdly, but I love the idea with it. I'm down.
Before he came out in Strive, a friend of mine used to joke about they're gonna put Johnny in Strive, they're gonna give him a soul patch beard. I was like, no! Don't do that to him, please. And then he came out in Strive and everyone saw the beard and I was like, you know what? He can have that.
Mhm.
He can have
It's an option. I can turn it off whenever I want.
I'm happy they gave us the option. I don't know. I like him more without the beard personally.
Yeah.
I as well.
both.
I like the idea of the beard a lot, so I support it in that respect. But like I was saying before, I just think it's modeled a little weirdly for just how it looks. Maybe it's the anime art style.
It's around the ear where it's like a little weird because it almost blends into his skin tone. This is the one issue I have with Strive where every character who's blonde, they look like they have a naked ass head because they made the blonde too light.
It's
You
so
are so
true.
real for that.
It's
I have
especially
mods
bad with
installed
Johnny.
that specifically make blonde hair yellower because it's like
Yeah.
stop blending in with your white ass skin.
Yeah, the
It's really
desaturation.
awful, and now
I-
people think Johnny's bald.
Yeah, I know that they're trying to make everything more grounded. That was something that we were trying to talk about on the previous recording, is the differences between his Exert and Strive designs, however minute but important they may be. It definitely does pain me that he looks noticeably balder, which I'm sure was
Well,
not
he's
the
getting
intention.
older, you know?
It's true.
Oh, the fun thing with that is his hair is still probably around the vast edge length. He just
Yeah.
slicks it back. People forget that you can slick hair back. I mean, it's a quiff. You can just slick that back with gel.
Yeah.
He probably has a shit ton of pomade.
That's
Mm.
one thing I actually like about his design is that the two bangs that hang off the corner of the sides of his head. When we saw him in Strive, I noticed they were gone. I went, no, he's aging.
He's balding. Gotta get him some
about
teeth.
that. They are still there. If you look behind his ear, they still
Mhm.
flow in the
He's
wind.
hiding
You
them from
tuck
you.
them behind.
Put his little macaroni hair strands back.
Oh,
Yes.
He's so coquettish.
So coquette.
Listen, I wanted to tell you, I know you had a little thing where you like went down each of the differences between Exert and Strive Johnny. Can you talk about the shoe thing again? I thought that was so neat.
Okay. So between Exert and Strive, he goes from monk style shoes to Oxford style shoes. The Oxfords that he wears in Strive look eerily like the ones associated with the Johnny Walker brand, which is the brand that influenced his walk. If you look at his walk cycle, it looks eerily similar to the Johnny Walker logo. It's just a very neat detail, and his choice in shoes is pretty posh, actually. It's like one of the most expensive things he can wear for a guy who goes rough and tough.
Mhm.
And they're
His
like
outfit in
huge,
general
too.
looks really expensive. Like, it looks like good quality material.
I remember Daisuke said that some characters have their clothes tailor-made, and I think when he said that, he was talking about Johnny. I
Yeah,
love
it would
that.
be very appropriate.
I need Bros Taylor and his number right now, but yeah, the shifts
Mhm.
from using gold accessories to silver, you know, he's getting more down to earth. He's not settling down. I don't think he'd ever settle down. But
I joked about it earlier, but I really like personally the difference between Exert and Strive Johnny with the gold to silver. Him being maybe that he gambled everything with the gold and he lost it all, and now he's having to, poverty silver his way back up.
he went to the pawn shop, though.
Mm-hmm.
May made him go pawn off the old Exert outfit. He was in
Mhm.
tears. But yeah,
His instant kill is anime as fuck. I like it.
It's so
Gosh.
good. I'm sad that it's not. I'm sad that it's just a super in Strive.
all his animations are like play like a girl's watching, you know.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
Wait, Race, what is does Johnny have Joker's trick or what's his IK like in
So his IK is still Joker's trick, but instead of like throwing the card at you and cutting the card along with you as he does in Exert, he throws the card at you and then you get trapped in the card and then he cuts it. So it's the same.
Oh, that's
So
sick.
so his IK from Plus R became the super in Strive.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
pretty.
His
sick.
power set's pretty interesting in lore. That reminds me.
Oh
Mhm.
my god, wait, it just occurred to me. I don't think he has Treasure Hunt in Strive.
He does not.
Correct.
He lost it completely, even though there's like Exert carryovers and files. I'm pretty sure. For Treasure Hunt. They're
That's
just.
insane. Do they not want to make extra Treasure Hunt items? Or I guess maybe it's just there's no purpose for it anymore?
I
There's
hope
no
they
purpose for it
implement
anymore because there's no coin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
There's no
point.
point, yeah, but they could definitely rework it. They could. Same for Bacchus Sai. I miss Bacchus Sai.
Mhm.
Just suddenly Jackhound, I guess.
I guess.
What is Johnny's own treasure? I saw him grab something there, but I couldn't see it.
It
Something
is a
talking to
porn
me.
magazine!
He's so shameless.
It's a porn magazine called Dynamic Housewives, and I'll talk about that later. But
Oh,
it's just
wow.
a lady with her, it's a lady with her ass out.
Jay, I don't know if it's because we just did it recently, but it just feels so similar to Kaname Tate.
Oh yeah, the just like canonical old man MILF hunter.
Porn on him.
He needs it.
Yeah,
Inspiration.
it's what's giving him the power up. That's why he can do the moves he can. You think someone could misfind her without the power of MILFs?
You think it's the coins giving him that power? Nah.
No.
God, I hate this man. I hope he dies.
I hate
Caressing
him
the
/
shrine.
affectionate.
Yeah, you're like Helga Patakiing right
Yo,
now.
check this out.
I hate
not.
him, yet I love him.
He is so shameless. A little too shameless, honestly.
That didn't kill? That's insane.
I mean, there's of course how he flirts with everyone, and it's like pretty raunchy. I think, yeah, it goes from Jam to Biken to Milia that he flirts with the most. Which
And
I had to count the dialogue for that. And
I was gonna say, I'm so glad to have you on for stats exactly like that.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do remember that order because I sat down one night and I'm like, shit, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Better
I
go
think
back
it's
to the
like
Johnny Mines.
I think it's like in his Plus R arcade mode. He walks up to Bike and he's like, "Hey, you're Japanese, right? I know about that. You want to join me on my pirate crew?" And then she's like, "No." And then
Let's
he's like,
revitalize
"Damn,
the
okay, you
future,
want to be my
baby
wife
girl."
instead?" And she's like, "No." And then he's like, "Damn, all right, can't. I tried."
Oh, he tells her to like come into his arms and like, damn, he really likes Biken, which I think is kind of sweet if you think about Unsho's influence on him, and Kuraba's as well. But as one of the last pillars of Japanese culture, even though he's not Japanese himself, he sure does make exception for Biken.
When you say it like that, it's honestly shocking that he hasn't interacted with Chip more, because that's the same deal for Chip, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's not the same deal because with Johnny, there's like a lot of implicit details. For example, all of May's companions, right? All of her animal companions have Japanese names, but she doesn't even know what a Japanese person is. The only person aboard that crew who knows any Japanese would probably be Johnny, meaning he handpicks Japanese names for those animals, and they're all male, by the way. All of them are male. And he, and that's my name in Strive. His sword strokes differ depending on the side of the screen you're on, which means he was taught proper calligraphy by Unsho. There's a lot of implicit details like that, but he is very caring about Japanese culture.
For people that are watching this and are not familiar with the deep Johnny lore, and you may be surprised that he even has this, but Johnny was trained by this Japanese man in America, I think, kind of similar to Chip was with, who taught him the Iato style after Johnny lost his own father. And it was such an inspiration for him that Johnny then pursued to be a father like this guy. So it's really sweet that he also learned like so much of the culture as well, like you're saying with the calligraphy.
He pays a lot of attention to other cultures. I mean, he greets Faust in Cantonese and Exerd.
He does?
He does.
All about
that's so
maintaining.
sweet.
Yeah, right. He's
He
maintaining that
seems
aura.
pretty
chivalry.
aware of different cultures, which I can appreciate since he's a globetrotter, but with Japanese culture, you can tell he has a great amount of respect for it, but he also doesn't try to parody it or misinform people about it for his own attachment to Unsho, unlike Chip. Chip isn't... I won't say that him and Chip would have beef or anything, but they're very, like, different presentations on American idealizations of Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Johnny... I mean, he was adopted by a Japanese man when he was probably very young, versus Chip, who was an adult at the time. So Johnny was probably more impressionable, at least, to learning about cultural stuff.
Well, I'd say the problem was Chip was too impressionable. Like, Chip is literally Narutoing his ass out here.
Yeah.
Naruto opening 16.
Yeah. I think it's also really funny. We spoke about it a little bit on the first recording, but harkening back to Johnny's voice actor also doing Whole Horse from JoJo. I think Johnny rightfully could accurately say that he is a guy who has girlfriends all around the world, which is also maybe partly why he's.
I'm only leaving you
so
because I love you,
multicultural.
baby.
Exactly. Yeah. I've got
Casanova.
girlfriends all around the world.
Johnny, how many of them are you dating, though?
It's more of a psychological thing.
He canonically has a harem already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Jay, I don't know why, but when you did it like that, all I could think of was Johnny as like Coach McGurk.
Oh my god, no!
Listen, man, I bought these swords.
Oh, home videos.
Yeah.
Honestly, that seems like half of Johnny's interactions with Viking.
No, yeah, it's so
That's
true.
how his
You got a
interactions
sword,
with Paul go
I
on.
got a sword.
Mhm.
We could make something work.
Oh dear god.
Your boobs, my boobs, we can do something here.
Oh.
You're topless, I'm topless. Real chemistry.
Speaking of Johnny's swordsmanship, though, I think it's also worth mentioning another thing that we had brought up on the first podcast, just while we're dropping like fun lore details. I think it's also just so cool and crazy that he just happens to be a regular dude, that Solo to Justice clone.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like
God.
no gear powers whatsoever, just a guy and his just raw aura taking down like a humanoid thinking weapon of mass destruction.
I
There's
do like
always an
some of the
appeal in things like this for, like, everyone in Guilty Gear is doing absolutely bullshit, blazing, crazy-ass bullshit. Like, you got Soul, who is just the entire universe and a dragon. You got Kai, who's also a dragon, but also, like, oh, the greatest lightning user ever. You got, like, Nagoriyuki, who's a vampire and a samurai. You got all this crazy
You have
stuff.
Slayer.
Yeah, Slayer just completely overpowered, getting naked because he's punching so hard. And then you have Johnny, just a guy who's really good with his sword, and he manages to just completely beat everyone effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
In Slayer's win quote against Johnny, he actually heavily implies that Johnny is holding back all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do
And
remember
Johnny
him
doesn't
saying
keep
that.
up with his training at all. He's just kind of lazy with it. So this is like, I'm just getting off my couch, Johnny.
We need
It's
to
so
start
funny.
power
He's similar to
scaling.
Soul in that way, because Soul's also, like, not trying, right?
Yeah. I will say though, Johnny's abilities, we have to keep in mind he was taught by a Japanese man when he was young, so there could be ki involved. We don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like
no.
there might be.
I think that was something that we were discussing around the first recording too, is the fact that like he's not necessarily a magic user, and he's still capable.
Oh, he
of
is
all the
outright
same
magic
things
user. I don't think
Oh, yeah?
people... Okay.
I'm
Here's
not
the
a magic user, but I'm not necessarily
that-
not,
a magic user
Here
neither. Yeah.
is the thing. So Johnny uses magic, right? But only to look flashy. If you look in all his animations.
Oh, that's cute.
With one of the Joker trick renditions, we were talking about how he traps the opponent in the card. Hirofumi Unsho had dimensional prison magic, which is how he sealed Pro Kuraba for a little bit. That might be a smaller.
Wait, did Johnny do that?
That's
Johnny didn't seal him. Hirofumi Unsho did, which was his
His
mentor.
master.
Yeah, his master has dimensional magic, kind of like how Faust does. It's stated before. And him being able to trap someone in the card kind of reflects that. There's also, I know the fandom wiki, not the fandom wiki, the Guilty Gear wiki states that he isn't a fire magic user, but his exert outro, he just sets a bunch of rose petals aflame, just by will. I mean,
that wasn't magic. That
it
was just
really,
his
really,
aura.
really hard. You understand?
and then
actually
there's
explain-
his use of
That's
wind
Zweihander.
Yeah, it's
His
100.
White Hunter,
I don't-
yeah.
I don't see him cutting a bottle or anything for that.
There's wind magic. We gotta mention that he uses wind magic. I think he might use wind magic because the way his cape just conveniently flutters and he makes petals flutter and shit. You can't
No,
tell
that-
me he doesn't have that shit time.
Counterpoint, I think that's what we call aura.
I was gonna say that this is also explainable through pure aura, but no, yeah, I think it's easy to see that, like you're saying. I really want to believe that, yeah, he just uses magic to make himself look that much cooler. Like, literally for no combat applications whatsoever, it's all about style.
All
I
about that
did
stuff.
hear, though, at one point that the practical reason why the Mistfinder Bacchus Sai combo works is because through Mistfinder he's sharpening the like cloud of mist and it's attacking you from all angles at the same time once Mistfinder hits.
Oh, that's so sick. Some
yeah,
like
that's
Kingdom
really
Hearts
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's metal. Fuck.
Slightly off topic, but I wanted to bring it up for my other Strive people that follow my channel, and for me, and other people around. That we're not aware of Exert, and I'm not even sure if he had this in Plus R, so do eliminate me on that. But can you guys explain to me the mist he puts on you that does unblockables? Because I still think that's absolutely crazy.
Race, you want this one?
No, you got it.
Okay. So, Johnny has a move, half circle forward punch, called Bacchus Sigh. It sends this cloud forward of mist. And it stays on you for 7 seconds.
Okay, like HC curse. Oh
Yeah.
my god! It forces counter hit?
It doesn't force counter hit, it forces stagger. State. It forces a staggered state with, I want to say, 65% proration. Or whatever combo you get off of it's not going to do a lot of damage. But that stagger state, you're blocking. Just hold FD. I don't care what kind of blocking you're doing. You get
It
staggered.
goes through FD. That's so
It goes
Your breath
through.
too stinky.
Yeah, bro hits the weed pen, dog.
So when do you set it up? Is it like you set it up on knockdown and it comes out, or?
You set it up. There are a few different setups that you can do. If you can cancel the first hit of 2D into it, and against most characters, you get a meaty.
It comes off on hit, right?
Yeah. If you hit Johnny, that's your key to hit me. It goes away. And it goes away after 7 seconds of regular play if it's not triggered.
God, that's so funny. I cannot believe how privileged
Also-
that whole move is, and then that in combination with like Misfiner level 3 and like Zweihander and just everything.
You want to be really busted about the Exerd version of when he came out?
Yeah.
They didn't remember how they didn't check it to see if they're still in unblockable state when the mist goes away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a true unblockable, right?
So when the mist goes away, so the thing is, the mist puts you in an unblockable state. When the mist goes away, you're not in an unblockable state anymore. But when he originally released in Exerd or Rev 2, if he put Bacchus on you and the mist went away, you were still in an unblockable state. It was a bug.
Oh wow.
So there was no indication for you still being able. That's why like some people would randomly get hit by level 3 Mistfinder even though the mist was gone. They're like, wait a minute, I was blocking, and like you were, but
Was
you
this
weren't.
patched out, or was this there for the
Yes.
whole version?
No, it was patched
This
out.
was
a long
patched
ago.
out like before. This was like Revelator demo.
Oh, okay. It's probably like
Yeah.
the arcade cap then.
Speaking of
It was-
funny Revelator demo Johnny things, Mistfinder Unblockable used to give you a true Mistfinder hit instead of the stagger.
Really? So
Oh
you
yeah,
can do like
it
a
got
full combo?
changed. Oh, I forgot it
Yeah.
got changed to give you stagger. Oh.
Jesus.
Because
Yeah.
you get full Mistfinder hit in ACR, right?
Yep, you get full Mistfinder hit.
Oh, that was something that we were speaking on the previous recording on the subject of the differences between ACR and Exerd. If you wanted to speak a little bit about that race, I think that was a fun conversation.
Oh, sure. So, as you know, in Strive, he uses cards, and that's mostly how he does his pressure. In the previous iterations of Johnny, he mostly has 8 coins. These coins on block give you frame advantage. In Plus R, they're +4, and Exert, they're +8. On hit, they level up your Mistfinder, and with Mistfinder, there also comes Miscancel, which is his biggest gimmick, or his, I shouldn't say gimmick, but his technique. In Plus R, the main level you want to be at is at level 2, because the clean hit of 1-hit Mistfinder is really strong, and in Exerd, or F2, you want to be at level 3, and level 3 gives you the wall splat, you're stuck on the wall for about 90 frames. So it changes from each iteration for him between like Plus R and Exerd on what state you want to be at to do the most optimal damage. There are still caveats to it. Being at level 3 Mistfinder gives you the fastest. Your frame advantage is crazy. Your miscancels get so fast. You get better combos. Like in Exerd, Johnny can combo off of his sweep just by miscanceling fast enough at level
That's
2
so
and
cool.
level 3. I think so I can show it off too.
Yep.
He said he has wave dashes in Plus R as well,
Yes.
right?
So he's the only, or was one of the only characters with a step dash outside of Cliff. And they both have the ability to wave dash, but when Johnny wave dashes, it looks like Melee Fox. He is zooming across the screen. And when you first start off with him, he might feel kind of clunky because of the wave dash, but that his movement is actually really insane. Not only does he have the wave dashing, he has multiple FRCs that help him move faster. He has Killer Joker Transport, and that has an FRC on it. So you do the FRC, and he flies across the screen. It's we actually call that the Flying Johnny. It's
Before it got patched out of Strive, I used to love doing the same thing with you could do a tech with Eno, you could do Mad Love, or I think it was also you could do some tech with JD, and you could just fly across the screen with the hitbox. It was so fun.
Yeah, he's super cool. Even though there have been a lot of changes between each version of Johnny, he's still really cool. And I can't. Every time I feel him, oh my god! Every time I play him,
No, you meant it. You meant it.
every time I play him in a game, I always feel like they capture this character on point every time with the supers, the normals, the respect, the taunts. He's iconic. I think.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He's not the Guilty Gear or anything, but he's iconic. In my opinion.
I don't think there is Guilty Gear without Johnny. Like, he's been here since the start.
He's a real one.
I will say you can wave dash, Sato Step, and Flying Johnny in Exert as well.
Oh yeah, you can, huh? Because you do not Divine Blade,
YYRC.
Transport, YRC. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And there's a different one, a special one that's really, really goofy, and it's really hard to pull off. You do super jump, air stance forward dash, cancel, YRC air stance.
Oh yeah, that one that looks like Slayer doing Footloose Journey.
Yeah.
What does that give you? Just like...
It takes away your levels and you fly across the screen like a moron.
Perfectly worth it.
Yeah.
I like that this game can be really like broken down into like, oh, this is my toy. I can play with my toy in any way I want. This is a silly question, but I wanted to ask everyone here. What is your favorite Johnny normal? For me, I know when I play Strive Johnny, 6K just feels like he's flying across the screen. Like, it's just unreal to me.
Exert 2H.
Exert 2H is really good, yeah.
Like, allow me to demonstrate the power of this normal.
Oh my god, what?
I am barely above the ground. I can misfire cancel, air dash, misfire cancel, falling normal, misfire cancel, land low, missed forward stance dash throw, missed back stance dash.
Silly question, but 2H it gives you like airtime, right? So that allows you to then cancel into other stuff, right?
Yeah, it's also jump cancelable.
If I had to pick, it's between plus R6H because he does the spin, or it's JD, the bicycle kick.
Oh god.
I was super happy.
I love how his kick looks.
I was super happy when I started seeing Johnny combos for Exert, and then his corner combo involves doing JD, air misfire cancel, double jump, JD's Y-Hander. That looked so cool to me. I was like, that's cool. I'm loving this.
Jaden, you gotta tell me you're Johnny normal, come on.
I like 5K. Like any iteration of his 5K, it's always so silly.
It's crazy in Strive. I think he has a 5K equivalent to Slayers, and Slayers is owning town right now. But I mean, maybe not until tomorrow. I didn't even check if it's getting nerfed, but Johnny's is fine though.
Yeah, it's immaculate in this game. It is a 6-frame normal.
So silly. He's got beautiful legs, by the way.
He does.
Very ironic.
He's got thick-ass thighs. I mean, shit.
Also very ironic.
No wonder why he's a thigh guy. He understands the work, dog.
He's like,
look, you gotta keep these thighs and calves in check, right? Like, it takes so much effort.
So what, you were saying it's a really good 6-framer?
Oh yeah, like 5K is a 6-frame button that low crushes in this game.
Low crush mean? It just means you staggered and down, like it crouched, or?
Oh, it hops over low buttons.
That's so stupid.
It hops over some low buttons, like because it retracts his hurt box on his legs so far. A lot of people will try to like do 2K on like your wake up from spacings, and you can just backdash 5K, and if they're staggering their 2Ks, sometimes you just catch them out. And it's funny. This button's goofy as hell. Like,
it's interesting. It looks kind of slow to me, but obviously it's not. But
yeah, backdash 5K is like one of Johnny's strongest defensive options in Exerd.
is he able to? So wait, is he able to like backdash, get into mist, and then come back in like instantly, or?
No, he just has a really fast backdash.
For those of my Strive viewers who are unaware that Johnny is top 1 in this game, do you mind explaining what makes him so damn good in this game? Besides the fact that we went through earlier of how good his normals are and how good that his unblockables are?
Alright. So, Johnny has a specific range that he really likes to stand at, right? Already we know his normals are fantastic. He covers space super well. He can just stand outside of anyone's range and probably whiff punish them. Due to a combination of his Far Slash, 5H, Mistfinder.
Can he Far Slash off a round start, or?
Oh, yes. It's an 8-frame normal. Like, most characters struggle to deal with round start Far Slash and round start Coin.
I think I remember hearing once that, like, Johnny just completely shuts down everything Bedman wants to do.
Oh, yes.
He will be my foil.
But, like, stand underneath the timer, and for the most part, anyone who is cornered by you can't hit you unless you whiff.
What would
While
you say,
you
like, Johnny
really
obviously has a
different.
really good, like, matchup spread. What would you say, like, not bad matchup, I don't know if he has a bad matchup, but what
He
would you
has
say is, like,
one
even
bad
for him?
matchup and a bunch of really annoying matchups, in my opinion.
Is it Faust?
No, actually. Faust is a
Really?
really annoying matchup. But fuck Dizzy.
Really? What is it about her? Is it
Yo.
just she's able to stay completely out in zone, or?
Yeah, she can completely disengage from the neutral, set up her conditions, set up the fish. The fish.
Oh, Fish
eat
probably
a
can
hit
block what
and-
Johnny wants to do on Wake Up, right? So.
Like, yeah. The fish eat any one hit, right? And Johnny is a character without multi-hit options. All of his normals require commitment. Like, you cannot afford to whiff anything.
Yeah.
Since you can't misfun or cancel on a whiffed normal.
I was gonna say if Johnny is just bad into other zoners, but then I was thinking, like, what other zoners are here? We have Axel. I imagine that you can just completely shut down Axel with, like, if Axel throws out, like, a 2P, you can just, like, counter poke that.
Johnny beats Axel for a different reason.
Really?
Yeah. Under most circumstances, Johnny historically loses the Axel matchup, right? However, in this game, he's got this is YYRC. Plus, the system mechanics tend to dunk on Axel in this game. Blitz shield, YRC slowdown, all of that makes Axel extending any hurt box really risky for him.
I was gonna say that's why YRC is the VCL we have at home, but I think it's the other way around, and it's that VCL is this YRC we have at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Except you can use VCL YRC on Wake Up.
I don't think we should give Johnny the ability to this YRC on Wake Up, though.
No, we shouldn't. He doesn't need it.
Grace, what are Johnny's matchups like in Plus R, though?
I think a lot of his matchup spread's pretty even. There are some outliers, like Zappa. Zappa destroys Johnny in that matchup.
Zappa's just stupid in that game from everything I've seen.
A lot of his summons, Johnny can't really do much about. Like, Dog, he gets to have a borderline infinite on you.
Can you poke Dog and get it out, or is it just once it's out, it's out?
You can poke Dog, so it kind of has like the usual puppet heal, where if it does a move, it's vulnerable for a second, so you want to punish it on recovery. But the thing about Zappa is that when Zappa wants to summon, he either has to hit you with DP, or sometimes, for reasons I still don't even quite understand, when he gets knocked down, he gets another summon. So you can kill one dog and can do 2D and get a knockdown, and then all of a sudden he suddenly has sword, and then good luck with that.
Oh, would you look at that? Now Zappa has 8 orbs, and now you're just dead.
The only caveat there is that he doesn't, when he gets knocked down, he can't wake up with Rao, and Rao is that giant electric warrior that he gets.
The win con, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get that, thankfully, but the thing about Zappa is that all of his summons are really annoying. There isn't a single one of them that I think are bad.
I was gonna say, at the very least, I don't know what it's like for your local scene, but thankfully, not too many people seem to main Zappa anymore, at least.
So my shoutouts to my homie Ben Camaro, who probably goes, I don't know what he goes by now, but he picked up Zappa, and yeah, that was a fun week. That was
1 week Zappa already destroyed you.
I mean, I didn't get destroyed, but it's just I don't know what the hell to do about this character, man. He just does things, but if as long as your pressure's on point, you can win. You just have to know how to fight certain summons and what you can and can't get away with.
How's Johnny into the other top tiers where it's Testament and Biken? How is he into them?
Okay, so Biken's not that bad actually. If you're on point with the miscancel stuff and you know what the range of her guard cancels, if you're aware of how
you can catch her out in her cancel?
Yeah, so if if you keep her at the range where your 5H will hit her, but then the stab Sakura won't, you're fine. If you're fast enough where she does Orin, then you can cross block the cross up. You can grab her out of Mawari Komi. It's not that bad. The rough part about Biken comes from fighting her in neutral and getting around to Tommy Mat. And Bikens in Plus R are usually really good at using that in neutral or using it in their pressure, because she has Kair to Tommy. I think she has it in an excerpt where she dashes, she air dashes forward and then does the Tommy Mat, and then she has plus frames on you. It's block, right? Let's see what else. Dizzy's about the same as she is in Exert. She puts
I imagine that matchup hasn't
disengage.
changed much between the games, right?
Not all too much. Johnny still has to be able to get the coin on you and then hit you again to actually do things, but thankfully Dizzy's made out of paper, so she evaporates if you actually do touch her.
Is Johnny good at getting stunned?
Getting what? Getting stunned?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Does he do high stun?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He still has the thing about his coins and his miscancel where he constantly puts pressure on you, and if you aren't using your meter to FD, he cranks your guard bar, and then he gets one hit, and then you've lost 70% if they do the right combo. He's still very much that I'm going to crank your stun bar and your risk gauge until I get the one hit that I need to kill this character.
It feels very akin to his identity as a gambler. It's you're banking everything on getting the one good hit to explode you.
Well, remember, you only have 8 coins. It's a little different in Strive, but in Exert and Plus R, you're either using them to build your Mistfinder so that way you have the damage for the next hit, or you're banking it on I'm going to crank your guard bar and then hopefully hit you with enough meter to erase your whole life bar, and I won't have to worry about not having plus frames.
I don't know if it's to the skill of the players or to how overtuned Johnny is in Exert, but I feel like I've never seen Johnny in Exert ever run out of coins. Is that a big problem in Plus R? Or am I just completely misled on both accounts?
Well, you have to also keep in track of that in Exert Treasure Hunters, Treasure Hunt?
Yeah.
Thank you. Treasure Hunt's a thing that gives him 2 coins back, and as long as he has 50 meter and you're able to do it well, he can do this mid combo and get right back to level 3 where he wants to be in his win con. In Plus R, he has Jackhound, and Jackhound has this follow-up called Jackhound Return where he goes through you and then comes back, and he gets a level back from this. But
that's cool.
But he doesn't get any coins back. So if you use up all your 8 coins, you don't have any frame advantage there, and the only way to build your Mistfinder is by spending 50 meter.
Well, so what you said before too, it's actually okay if he doesn't have enough coins for level 3, because you said level 2 is actually pretty strong in Plus R, right?
Yes, the main point, the where you want to be in Plus R is level 2 because it's a single strike that causes the tumble, as opposed to level 3 where level 3 in Plus R is multiple swipes If you do mid misfiner, it causes stagger, low causes knockdown, and then 3 bounces them up in the air. But it doesn't do as much damage. So that's why people are mostly want to be at level 2, and then they end up doing a lot of their air combos do a lot of damage. They end in Senga, or they do hard knockdown.
Then you get unblockable.
Yeah. So, but that's then you get unblockable, true. But that's like the huge change between Exert and Plasar is that Johnny is consistently able to be in this win con state. Like, if you're doing your combos right, he'll always have, not always, but he'll always be a way to get his coins back. And even if you throw the items that you get, they're still +8. The frame advantage doesn't change. And then being at level 3 is optimal, as opposed to Plasar where it isn't. So he's constantly able to be in this win con position where you have to deal with him. If he's able to get the hit anyway, and do this, it's not as simple as I'm making it sound.
And that was kind of something that I remember we had spoken about in the first recording too, that I really wanted to bring up again. I really appreciate that level of ludonarrative coherence that you get with so much risk associated with like getting his game plan established in Accent Core. I think that really does a great job of making you feel cool as fuck when you actually do land something and execute correctly, because it's like, oh damn, I really am like Johnny, I'm on the edge this whole match. I'm putting everything on the line, and then I nail it and I get rewarded and I get to look cool as fuck. And I think you had said, Race, that people were a little disappointed that they kind of removed that element of risk when he got brought over to Exert, and I almost wonder if, like, I might be extrapolating too much. It's probably a completely different gameplay thing or, like, game feel thing, but I honestly feel like that might be part of the reason at the very least.
Yeah. Right.
In general, Exert...
Oh yeah, continue.
Yeah. In general, Exert is a lot more consistent of a game than Plasar when it comes to execution and your ability to perform routing and go into powerful win conditions.
Jaden, I wanted to ask you, as someone that mains Johnny and Exert and Strive, how close is Johnny's win con in Strive compared to Exert? I know in Strive, like, he's really good at getting meter and just locking you in the corner with guard crushes and shit, but how do you feel between the versions?
Honestly, I don't think I'm, like, too qualified to say, because, like, I kind of just, like, roll with whatever, and, like, I don't know, I'm not that good of a player with, like, both Johnnies, so, like...
Oh, yeah. I thought you were still maining Johnny in Strive. Did you swap over fully to Bridget, or...?
No, I mean, like, I still play Johnny, but I don't think I'm, like, anything, like, too, like, special, I guess, so, like, I'm not able to, like, fully, like, give a absolute answer, of that.
It's interesting that they swapped over for Strive from the coin system to cards, but I guess it's that Strive is such a fast game with such high damage, you can't really go for the full level up mechanic, so they instead went for, like, Johnny's oppression with cards by creating guard crush and creating different angles he can attack from. Kind of like the idea with Bacchus, but...
It's similar, I guess, but, I don't know. I haven't played Stripe Johnny in, like, ever, so I'm not able to, like...
You went broke. Those 8 coins were his allowance.
I was gonna talk about that. I think
the
it's so
economy's
cute.
rough.
I think it's so cute that they kept this from Exert and in Strive, and it's that May is the one with the pants on in this, like, father-daughter relationship where she's doing all the taxes and giving Johnny allowance to go gambling with.
I think
Like, he's that much of an irresponsible adult.
The funnier part is someone had to teach her how to do that. So he had to teach, like, a 6-year-old, because he adopted her when she was presumably around 6 or 7, from what we know. He taught a fucking 6 to 7-year-old how to do income tax, retirement, shit. Why and how it's May and not Leap, I'll never know, because you'd think he'd trust an adult to do that, but I guess a child is someone who can actually guilt trip him over it. Shit. He's
now,
very
May, watch this. Stop me when I say stop. God damn it, he's at, like, the patch a slot machine, and she's like, okay, I think it's time to stop. And he's like, no, let me keep going.
I think we gotta realize that Johnny is a good parent, but not a great person, which is probably why he doesn't adopt boys either, because to women, he's probably a good role model for young girls. But considering the relationship he had with his father and then Unsho, which are both father figures he lost, he A, probably can't live up to it because he does live a life of vice, and B, if he did raise a young boy, and the young boy turned out like Johnny, just without the tragedy of Johnny's character, that'd be a huge problem. And Johnny's probably also the reason why Sin ended up getting raised by Soul, because you cannot tell me that Dizzy did not at least ask the guy. His no boys rule is interesting. It's not like he abandons the boys.
Oh my god, wait, you're so right. Like, Dizzy had no reason not to give Sin to Johnny.
Except
but...
for the no boys rule.
Yeah.
He's insecure about his role as a parent. We gotta realize that. Especially with May.
I was gonna go into more of this later on, but I think it might actually be good to bring up now, and I have this down in my notes, but Johnny as a whole character, with all of his personas that he is, he's like the cowboy, he's a pirate, he's basically a movie star, he's a samurai, he's a gambler, all these extremely masculine things. Like, I think more than anything, Johnny is like a man's man, and he makes sure he presents as that cool boy man, where he's always looking as cool as possible. But I also think, like, Johnny's character, in terms of what he does in the story and the lore and how he looks, is that he's a character of omission. Like, he's wearing shades so you can't see his eyes. He's wearing black so you can't really, like, get a good read on him, besides that he looks cool and he looks deadly and things like that. His whole thing is that he's trying everything he can to prevent May from learning that she's Japanese, and he does that by lying to her and hiding things from her and gradually introducing things, like for 20 years of her life.
Oh yeah, he's ill-prepared. He is a great dad, I won't deny that. But he took on too much all at once. He doesn't have that experience with his dad where his dad just had presumably the one kid, which was him. Munsho had him and Kuro, which that's just two boys, and at least one of them ended up being a murderer, so And then with Johnny, he's raising young girls when he probably has not had that experience in his life before. We don't know whatever shit him and Giovanna went through, but it's just interesting because May's infatuation with him is something that I think about a lot when it comes to that. That infatuation confirms that to him, he might not be the father he thinks he is to his own family, and I think that's really sad, which is why he avoids it so much. And as for May being Japanese, I mean, he's been raised around Japanese people for a good chunk of his life, and I think the omission that he provides that, how do I put this? It's very strange that he's so knowledgeable about Japanese culture, but then you realize if he told May about it, she'd run away, and if he told May no, she'd run away, and the last thing he wants is for her to run off and endanger herself.
Yeah, he's terrified of his family leaving him, and like a lot of this kind of just reads as like insecurity in a lot of ways. Like, he doesn't trust himself to be like a good enough dad to keep her around, or like she's afraid that like she'll go hurt himself, so he has to protect her. It's kind of like very interesting from a father perspective.
I wouldn't say he's just a father, because he's also compared to like an older brother for the girls, which I think might be a little more fitting. You have to keep in mind, he's kind of stuck, and he is based off of Batman. I'm pretty sure that's a well-known fact, but the Batman inspirations stick with him because he does ineffably act like a child. He whines like a child in front of Dizzy, and Dizzy says he doesn't eat his veggies, which is interesting. He can't be responsible enough for children despite having them in his life and expect the children to take on that responsibility. He puts children in situations that could endanger them despite being an adult who claims that he wants to protect the weak. No matter what, I don't think endangering your family like that's okay, but he thinks that in some sense the facade that they have would justify that. He's a very weird man, but he's just a little boy somewhere in there wanting a superhero fantasy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he hasn't fully come to terms with the fact that he's lost out on the life that he wanted, and now he's coping with.
It's a very human thing to want to be this cool-ass anime character. Like, that's a part of the reason why you guys, like, picked him up in the first place. It's because he looks so cool, and he wants to believe in himself in that same way.
He also doesn't want people to, like, think about it too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Usually.
Yeah, I think the Batman comparison is especially salient because it really does feel like this maladaptive, like, kind of superhero projection that he's putting out there, not just for, like, the people around him to have that sense of security that he didn't really have as a child, but also for himself to convince himself kind of that it's like, oh, I've moved beyond that worry that people are going to leave me, or that I'm even someone who like anyone would ever even entertain the idea of leaving, because I have such a great cult of personality around me. You know, I'm this really cool Robin Hood-esque figure that every woman is swooning after.
Robin Hood is like ageless. We have to keep in mind that's the one thing Robin Hood is known for. Ageless.
Exactly.
Never
Yeah.
changing. He's a stereotype with no name attached to him.
Yeah.
And
that,
I
like,
think
Peter
that's
Pan is.
like what Johnny wants, to fade
Yeah.
into something grander than himself.
Mhm.
I know it's cheesy, and that's like the one thing people try to avoid when talking about his character, because he doesn't have a lot. For example, we have no mention of any women in his life, not just like from a romantic perspective, but from a familial one.
Mhm.
So there is
had,
definitely
like,
some.
No mother, yeah.
No mention mother. He might have had a mom, and we just don't know. But there's no mention mother and the
Yeah.
impact she might have had on him. His dad's like the main focus,
Mhm.
and him acting like his dad, which translates into something more concerning. If he wants to act like his dad, and his dad was the one raising him, and we see Johnny's maladaptive behavior, what does that mean about his dad?
Mhm.
Like the constant flirting, the hiding your emotions in front of your kids thing. It's just not healthy, but maybe he just gets stuck in that.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
I was gonna say that in Guilty Gear, every character holds incredible guilt, not for the crimes they commit, but secretly because they feel guilty of themselves for failing to accomplish something or failing to be something. What do you think that is for Johnny? I think it's like he feels guilt that he can't be the father he envisions himself as for like these kids that he has, or that he can't be all like, not that he's like he can't be it exactly, but like he feels like they're gonna get hurt and it'll be his fault, kind of.
I think where his guilt lies is in the fact that you can't ever save everyone, but more importantly, the people you love. If you fail them in that moment, what does that mean for you as a person? He was only 13 years old, right? But let's just take that into context. There is a lot of luck elements to Johnny's character. For example, his birthday. He was born on the 1929 U.S. stock market crash, Black Thursday, which does have something to do with his theme. One of the unluckiest days in U.S. history. His dad died when he was 13. Oh, give me a hot minute.
Yeah, gotta pull out the compendium.
Jada, I know you have 10 million thoughts about Johnny as a father. Do you want to talk about any of them?
Okay, I am. So sorry about that. But died when he was 13. And there's just consistent themes of him being consistently unlucky. If he had a better hand in life, maybe his dad wouldn't have died and he could have just lived a normal life. He's
so
probably
you're
just...
saying his guilt comes from watching his father die and like, oh, I
Right
couldn't protect
before
him then, so I will protect these people now. That's kind of cool. That's very
The
anime
son
as well.
should bury his father, but not at such a young age. He feels powerless, I think. I mean, even like donning the whole superhero persona, that's something men characteristically do when they feel like they can't protect the people around them. The persona
Exactly,
helps them act on those
Johnny of the Seven
emotions.
Skies.
Seven Seas.
You juxtapose that notion of like personal impotence with it being like, oh, I'm this larger than life figure. Like, obviously I can do anything and protect all these people, and because I've become this symbol, now they have something to believe in. They have that sense of security, kind of
Let's
like
not
you were
even
saying before.
mention the gambling addiction, possible alcoholism. He's trying to wean off of it if you look into details. Like, he tries
Wait,
to drink
really?
coffee. He tries to drink coffee late at night. And he mentions coffee quite a bit. What's very common is for alcoholics to shift over to coffee because it has similar addictive properties but less drawbacks. So there is some implication that he might be aware of that, or maybe he just likes coffee. I don't know.
Sorry, I just imagined Johnny now with like very tired eye bags and like, you know, I feel some heart palpitations. That's adorable.
He's everything.
But yeah, Jaden, you got cut off earlier. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Honestly, nothing much. Lissa already has a lot of like ideas that I also share. I think that they pointed out a lot of them very well. So yeah, I'm not sure if I have anything more to say.
I wanted to talk about now, while we're still talking about Johnny's story, probably the most obvious flaw, I guess, of his, and it's that how he treats women, where it's not exactly a big problem. It's not like he's a turbo misogynist and he's like, oh, you know, women can't do anything. He's not that kind of character. More so that, like, he has preconceived notions of them, like as we were talking about before, like, oh, he will never accept boys on his ship because he wants to be a girl dad, kind of. And of course, his very famous interaction with Bridget, where he's like, hey, Bridget, you want to come on my ship? You're very cute. And then the classic anime trope, it's the only time it's ever done in Guilty Gear, where that phrase even came from for what Bridget was referred to as in 2002. And then Johnny's like, no, you're not allowed on my ship. And then in Strive, he's like, oh no, you're a queen, you know, like no mention of it, like I fully accept you. I just wanted to see if you guys had any thoughts on like his like kind of sexism, I guess?
You could call it that. How to word this? Johnny is one of those men who undoubtedly does believe in women's rights and probably is a feminist. But as a man, he still is guilty of things like objectification. He can't remove the fact that women are somewhat attached to men in his brain. I don't know what's wrong with him.
No,
I don't know what's wrong with him.
He'll see a powerful woman in something and be like, oh man, she could kick my ass. Like, oh, you know, a guy.
I love
the
the kind
like
of
that.
woman who would actually kill
At
me.
the same time, he's
Oh,
Spike
God.
Spiegel.
he's type of like overtly feminine women. Overtly. He loves women with hourglass figures, stereotypically attractive features, I should say, if I want to be respectful about this. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but he's never thought about women, like women that are outside of his family in a greater context. And to him, it's more of like probably a source for upping his reputation. Like, I'm popular with the ladies, I get the ladies. Don't worry about the fact that you don't see that. I flirted my way out of prison. He probably wouldn't survive in prison.
God.
He wouldn't
The
survive
first
in
time
prison.
he's ever in canon is him just being like, I flirted my way out of prison, can't tell my daughter who wants me.
Such a fucking whore. What's his
Yeah.
name?
Slash affectionate.
But yeah, no, with the Bridget thing, I feel like that's just bad writing at the end of the day, considering that they've overtly written over that with Strive. Like,
Yeah.
There's no way he'd be disrespectful about that, and when we see how he treats Testament now, even with the way he's treated Testament in past games, they've always been an exception to the rule that he has, because just overtly.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's that Johnny's like a turbo sexist or anything like that, more than he's just got like some weird preconceived notions. And most of all, I wanted to talk about the really funny running joke they've had for like 25 years, where May is like, you don't hang out with any boys at all, what is up with you? And Johnny's like, whoa, hold on, I hang out with one man. And then Testament ends up being non-binary, so it's like, well, fuck, he doesn't hang out with any men.
Well, there's Faust now,
Yeah.
but
And
I think the
talks to
reason-
Slayer.
The reason he doesn't like talk to any other men, or men don't talk to him, is probably how anyone should word it. He's insufferable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a diva. He's not
Slash
even
pause.
like. He's high maintenance. He's kind of an ass.
Sorry, I'm imagining him popping up at someone's house and being like, hey, you guys want to do a bet where we bet our entire houses and livelihoods, you know, just for fun tonight? Like,
And it cuts
Johnny,
like Soul and Jacko on the couch.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. We're good, thanks. That's why he has like 13 kids, you know? They need someone to hold his energy.
Also, there's how he treats Kai. Shit. Okay. There is something key to how he treats Kai. Because him and Kai have some like father-son beef going on there. Even if they aren't father and son. He's like a
Well,
proxy.
Kai is like
dad.
way younger than him, right?
He's about 5 to 10 years younger than him, according to me. The thing is with that, there's almost like a handing off he does with Dizzy towards Kai, where it's like, okay.
I thought that was kind of sweet. I mean, it's a little fucked up,
care
like,
of
hey,
her.
give her her own personhood, but at the same time, like, oh, it's like a father, like, yeah, you know what, you can marry my daughter, kind of thing.
He's handing her off, and he's very traditional in that aspect. I think that's the best way to
Is that
describe
Whiff?
him.
Oh, I OTG'd the super.
Oh.
I gotta keep in mind that even though this wasn't intended for his character, probably until like Exerd with his English dub, he's probably from the Bible Belt or somewhere around there. Probably Tennessee if we're being real. It's Johnny Cash.
Sorry, stupid question. What's the Bible Belt? Is that like Midwest?
It is the American South, like
Like, yeah.
basically every red state you can think of. every red state you can think of. And the Bible Belt and traditionalism, purity culture, all that, it gets instilled into young boys very quickly, and it's very generational. Especially for Johnny seems to be from a rural area. This isn't just from the country accent, but the fact that for some reason him and his dad could survive for a long time and take people in, which suggests that they at least live somewhere remote. It's just an unfortunate consequence of being in the southern United States. His southern genteel translates into misogyny because the idea of southern genteel, or the southern gentleman, relies somewhat on undermining women already.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It's like superficially like, a product of kindness. And I'm sure for Johnny, like obviously it's happening on a level that he's not even thinking of. Like we were saying, it's not that he's like trying on purpose to be like a misogynist, but it's still like a foundational sort of part of it.
Definitely is.
I was gonna say, it's interesting that like we see him get over this in certain respects when it comes to Haehyun in Exerd, where it's like, oh, Haehyun is shown it to be his only like one true friend, like the person he hangs out with the most, that he keeps correspondence with, and that he talks to one-to-one the most, and like he fully respects her as her own woman, even if she doesn't present as such.
Yeah.
I think it's cute, first of all, that Johnny's friends with 2 trans women. Good for him. But
yeah,
I like that he like helps Haehyun like challenge like the sexist thing, like stereotypes of her like Korean household and upbringing.
Yeah, really confronting those internalized biases that sort of both of them had built up through the course of their adolescence. So it is pretty cool.
Being Asian and growing up, it's like the misogyny in our culture, I'd say, just in Asian cultures in general, is uniquely like stronger than what you see in the U.S. Where if you have some preconceived notions, I think we can all agree that treating women as subhuman is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But there's
I think a wise woman once said to love the subhuman self.
Oh yeah.
I
think there is like also this weird thing about how Haehyun has to like display manhood when she probably doesn't have much of an idea, or many of the men in her life probably haven't been good to her. Johnny might be one of the good ones.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a role model thing. It's like, hey kid, it's okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know for sure, because they had such a small scene, whether it's like, oh, she sees him as a close friend, or like the only one she has just because she lived a very sheltered life, or if she sees him as like this surrogate father in the same way much of his own kids do. But whatever relationship it is that they do have, I just think it's very, very, like, achingly sweet. One of the first things I ever saw of Exerd was I was going through their arcade modes, and I saw that Johnny just... This character I had perceived as being this, like, completely upfront, like, stalwart anime man that feels nothing, all of a sudden just walk over to this old man who I didn't know was, like, a fail girl at the time, but just walk up and, like, hug him. And it just made me like tear up a bit. I'm like, oh my god, this is just Guilty Gear is not like a normal story. It's a story where people are like human and hug each other and feel these deep things and love each other. Like, it's so sweet. That hug means a lot to me. The fact that Haehyun is also like, oh yeah, Johnny is the... there's this guy I know he was just the biggest son of a bitch I've ever met. He gambles, he takes what he wants, he's never nice to anyone, but when he says please, I know he means it for sure, because he never asks that, so that's why I trust him no matter what. And it's like, oh, she really does pay attention and care about him.
Unfortunately, Johnny is Haehyun's worst matchup.
Why is that? Is it just like... What causes that?
Combination of Johnny's 5H just hitting everywhere that Haehyun wants to be. And, well, Johnny's everything kind of covers the arcs that Haehyun wants to be and move at. Haehyun does have terrifying pressure, but Johnny's also, for some reason, one of a staggeringly few characters that her standard high-low mix-up doesn't work on.
Really? So, wait, she's not able to get her kick loops off because she's just not even able to get in?
She's able to get her kick loops off because neutral is neutral and eventually someone's gonna get hit, right?
Yeah.
But the tuner ball Oki, where she sets up the tuner ball and then either does the overhead 5H where she whiffs the first hit, which is a mid, and then hits you with the overhead, or she does 6K, which looks very much like the startup of 5H, right? On most characters, that first hit of 5H whiffs, which means you only get hit with the overhead part. You don't have to block the mid. But against Johnny, you can just block low on most high-hewn setups, and you can tell, oh, I blocked this mid. The next hit is an overhead.
So you can just get into like what her flow chart is, and she just can't do anything.
Fundamentally, the way that Johnny's hitboxes are built disrupt her standard mix to a degree, and on top of that, just his moves cover the areas that she wants to move in, and he gets funny combos on her.
I know I asked about matchup spreads earlier for you guys, but I just wanted to ask on more of a player level. What do you think is the matchup you feel most comfortable on when you pilot Johnny? Like, where it's like, oh, this guy's playing this character, I have got this, and I know why, because I can do it. What is that for you guys?
Grace, you want to go first?
Sure. Slayer.
Oh
Really?
my god.
Why's that?
So when I first picked up Guilty Gear, I had a training partner, and he played Slayer. And when we went to a local together, we played a first to 50. He beat me 50 to 10.
That is a classic like learning FG experience.
He beat me 50 to 10 to the point where I was like, I'm going to learn how to destroy this character. And even though Slayer is really strong in plus R, he has backdash cancel. It's really hard to deal with. But I grinded that matchup so much. Before plus R had online, I would just go into training mode, or not training mode, but fight against the computer, and I would fight Slayer on the maximum difficulty to like just get used to how he moves, what feels normal to punish, what you can't get away with, things like that. So anytime I come against the Slayer, I'm just like, I'm gonna destroy you like the rest. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like
fucking turned you into a supervillain.
For me,
I have to imagine how funny it is the next person you play that plays Slayer that it wasn't your partner, and it's like, oh, they're just fucked now. They have no idea.
There's always the people who have like, well, not everyone like plays the same, right? Like I feel like most of the time when I fight Slayer, I'm ready to deal with, but there will always be the few that, you know, they move differently or they do certain things. Like fighting Daemendo in plus R for the first time was a completely different experience from fighting my partner. And Daymendo's really good. With
I had
any
no
version
idea
of Slayer.
Daemendo was a plus R person too. I only knew Daemendo from Exerd. That's so cool.
He plays plus R. I remember playing him in Combo Breaker a couple of years back. He was really good. But yeah, that's the matchup for me. I feel like grind the most.
Mine is
No, I was just gonna ask.
Mine-
What was it for you?
Jam, actually.
Really? Why Jam?
Well, first off, I'm from Southern California. We have a massive influx, collective of jams called
I
the
was gonna
Jam
say,
League.
we talked with some of them recently. Like, I've heard about how many jams there are.
Yes. There were several jams when I was in my early career who would just absolutely dunk on me, and some of them were not very nice people. They'd make fun of me for losing a winning matchup with this character, and I elected to never lose this matchup again.
What was the problem with the jam matchup for you? Was it just that, like, just her options out of puffball were just, like, overwhelming you?
The biggest issue was the neutral and how quickly it could end and transition to Jam's overwhelming pressure. And Johnny's defensive options, while the few that he has are really, really, really good, Jam has a lot of stuff where she just doesn't have to care as much. So
I found out very recently, because I had a bunch of them walk me through the character a bit, that she just has a lot of ways to just fly across the screen in the air, on the ground, that she has just a lot of really powerful mix-ups, and then once she gets in, she can just roll her face all over the controller and just slop her way to victory, as they put it. But...
yeah. Oh, thanks, Amadeus. But yeah, I have, since losing a lot in my early career to this character, I have elected to not lose to this character ever again. And for the most part, I'm doing a good job. I lost to a local jam player at my local.
Aw. So what was it? What is it that you do to train against jam specifically? Is it just you learned like character-specific routing to like, or just one of her like really powerful options? Like, what was it for you?
It was figuring out the spacings that really force her to commit. Figuring out the routings that allow me to have to interact with her the least. And figuring out solid counterplay against Jam's defensive options. Like anti-parry stuff.
I just teleport across the screen
Oh.
there. Sorry, that was just interesting to me. You can continue.
Yeah, misstep is funny. It's sometimes when people have strong defensive options, they can pigeonhole themselves into using them a whole lot more than they would like standard system mechanics or like stuff like that. So
was
they
it
end up
parry for you, or?
It was parry for me. So I found tools and ways that I could subvert parry. Like, did you know that on parry hit, Johnny can still cancel into Mistfinder stance?
Wait, what? Really?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I'm comfortable standing just outside of parry hit range, slapping 5H, holding Mistfinder cancel, watching them whiff parry, and then shooting them in the face.
Stupid question, but are you able to like throw coin when you know they're gonna parry, or can she parry coin and it's just not worth it?
It's not worth it because throwing coin extends your hitbox into parry.
I see.
So I don't think it's the best idea at the spacings that you're normally going to be doing this.
Jaden, what's your most comfy Johnny matchup?
For Xrd, I feel like I don't have that much experience in, but for Shive, it's definitely Potemkin.
Yeah, you just
like...
press those buttons and anything hits him.
Yeah, that as well as like just how easy it is to get him in the corner and just kind of keep him there.
Just
like
bully him.
you only really need to win one interaction, and that's kind of easy at the moment to do. And like honestly, you just need to throw card and like just keep him in the corner, and then like he doesn't really have a way to like truly get out, and if he does, it's like reversible somehow.
Scare this poor man with playing cards until he dies.
So proud, I actually got like 6 hits in this match.
Another thing while we're on the subject of gameplay that we had actually mentioned on the first recording that I wanted to have us kind of chat briefly about again is just kind of everyone's biggest play inspirations for Johnny. I think as YN Race, you guys had like some cool things to say about the players that specifically inspired you or that had like cool tech for your games.
Yeah, my inspiration was Sato from Japan. He mostly played Green Johnny, but when you see him move and you knew who it was, he made Johnny look like he had roller skates on. He had techniques called the Sato step or the Sato dance, where it's dash forward, FD break, back dash, and dash forward. And he was the only Johnny who really ever utilized this technique. But when he did it, it made Johnny look so fast. I was a huge fan. I think he was the first Johnny I actually tried to emulate. And I'm not good enough to actually do it, but I try.
I pull inspiration from a lot of players. Peppery Splash, yeah, Omido, a little bit of Karinchu. He was infamously known as the Wild Johnny due to his execution carrying him through a lot of early Revelator and his ability to just kill you off of any hit regardless of what the situation was. There's Peppery Splash, who was like the NA Johnny to watch for a very long time before he switched to Venom.
I talked about it earlier before, but it's so interesting to me. I had no idea Peppery Splash was a Johnny Exer player, because I have only ever known Pep as a Venom player, and you told me it's because he got bored of winning with Johnny?
he got bored of winning with Johnny, and he wrote most of the Johnny docs that NA Johnny players used for that era.
That's cool.
Yeah. But
it's cool too that he was able to translate his Johnny knowledge into playing Johnny in Strive, because he won the Arc World qualifier in Brazil with Johnny. Wow. He just whipped out Johnny out of I forgot what he was maining before he started going full on Johnny, but he just whipped out the Johnny and he beat up Rang 13's infamous Gold Lewis, and it was one of the most hyped sets of Strive ever. And I just wanted to bring that up super quick because I remember watching it on the couch. I had it on the full screen TV, and I was screaming my ass off when Pep won. But yeah, you can continue.
And my final points of inspiration, especially for my routing, come from two players, Skybandy and Zhao. Skybandy, infamous for combo videos, Korean player, came up with a lot of double coin routes, routes that allow you to transition from level 2 to level 3 without having to rely on coin OTG. There's a Johnny specific one here. I whiffed it.
I love seeing the coins in between all the combo hits, though. It's very satisfying.
Yeah. But he came up with a whole bunch of very character-specific routing, and that's some stuff that I implement to this day. And Zhao came up with a lot of corner carry routing and stray hit pickups that I studied for a long while. In a similar vein to Skybandy, but their philosophies were a little different. Skybandy especially was a fan of dust loops and incorporating JD into everything that he could, while Zhao would just use the entirety of Johnny's toolkit.
What would you say is your identity with Johnny? And this is for both games, I guess.
IIK people.
So you ended cleanly.
Give me a second. I have to demonstrate something.
Okay.
Give me so I go to majors pretty regularly. And at majors I have this little thing that I do.
Oh, this.
Oh, yeah. Race knows. Race already knows. I have a box. A deck box.
Really?
Okay. It is full of custom-made cards.
This is so sick.
Every time when I IK someone at majors, I offer them one of these.
I'm like, wait, he keeps that shit in his wallet, and he got it from at a major.
Left a scar on.
Oh no, he was pretty happy about it. Today's his birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'll let him know. That's funny though.
I can't tell if it's the ultimate BM or if it's just that's your calling card. That's just the stylish hey, by the way.
I was gonna say, I think the beauty of it is that it's somewhere in between, right? It's not hold this L, hold this card.
It's a combination of the two. The art was done by Keeters. He's on Twitter and Blue Sky, regularly Twitch streams. Fantastic guy, fantastic artist. It cost a good chunk of money to get these produced.
How many cards do you have?
Now I started this run with about 108. I think we're down to damn, I'm down to enough that I can just fan these.
Holy shit, that's a lot of IKs.
1, 2, 3.
If you go to Evo, can you please IK me, please?
I have 10 cards left.
Mail me one.
I have 10 cards left. Okay.
I need to add it to my collection.
I usually go to Evo. You'll probably see me there.
Yes.
It's only a drive.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's a full 5 hours for me and Jay to get over there. But I've been there for the past
5-hour
2 years.
drive from me too.
That's a whole flight from here.
I wanted to ask you guys, this is more of a bit of a vain question, I suppose, but I'm still just super curious about it. What is it like for you guys to get up on the big stage and like win. Like, are you guys nervous at all, or?
Always.
Always. Like,
That
dog.
shit seems so nerve-wracking.
It is.
They say that, like, you eventually get over nerves, stage fright, shit. Like, you don't.
You actually
You just
kinda
find
don't.
you find different ways to cope with it and handle it, right?
I feel like. No, go ahead. You got it.
I was actually gonna ask how you like. Do you have any rituals for that? Like when you
No.
gotta play a top 8 or a top 16 or something?
No, I always feel nervous. It's just when I get there and I actually play, I take a deep breath, and by the time I'm playing, all of the like nervousness actually melts away. You get so focused on actually just playing, you're not really worried about being on a stage in front of people and being a spectacle. You kind of just play, and then by the time the set's over, I take another deep breath and I'm like, oh hey, I'm on a stage.
Yeah.
Another stupid question: Can you guys hear the commentators when you're up there, or? 'Cause I was
usually-
always wondered about that.
Usually you don't. At least in my experience, I don't hear them. They're usually like behind a soundproof booth, unless like the speakers are like projecting on the sides of the stage. Then you can hear them, but otherwise, not usually.
Yeah. For me, I usually just sort of, similar to race, I take a deep breath and I play, but recently since these brackets are getting hella stacked, recently I've been,
Really? So you're saying Exert has like gotten stronger over time, then?
It's getting stronger. Granted, back when it was at its peak, I was bad, so I wouldn't know. But
Well, I'd like to hope at least. Like, I've seen what Pat the Flip has been doing, and like all the like Cali people with Exert, and I really like the efforts that they're doing for it. Like, it does feel like Exert is getting better and stronger every day.
this is true, and the scene itself is growing a ton, which means there are definitely more people who are getting better at the game. By the way, Treasure Hunt's a cross-up.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Does
man.
the
As if
cross-up
he
give you
needed
anything
more
cool?
tricky bullshit. That's awesome.
No, it doesn't. It just natively is a cross-up because the hitbox activates after the pass-through dash.
It'd
Right.
be really cool if it gave you some like Milia and Miraz stuff where it's like, oh yeah, you can use the cross-up to get on the other side of someone in the corner and then like flip them and.
No, that would actually be a detriment. Yeah.
Here's why. I still have
Yeah.
both of the cards you've given me.
To speak on
You wanna know
iconography.
the story behind both of them? The second one you gave me at oh my god, at DreamHack when we met last year. And then the first one you gave me at Anime Ascension when we both played a set in Exerd. And you're like, I give these out to people I IK, and I was like, if I IK you, can I get one?
Flip the script on
You were
him.
like, yeah, okay. And
Yeah.
you
Crazy.
IK'd me.
Raze, I know you may not want to do it, but you gotta start handing out coins instead, you know?
Oh
I don't have it like that.
Start handing out his beer bottle. Not
Okay,
his
you know what?
Beer bottle.
tequila.
Go
His
full
tequila
poverty, hand out pennies.
bottle. No, he doesn't even have pennies
Ah.
anymore. He's too broke for that. I will say,
Rough economy.
I just got reminded of this because I was talking with Shmuel about it earlier.
OMG,
Shout out to
Shmuel.
Shmuel.
He's
I
editing
was
the
looking-
intro for this episode. Shout out Shmuel.
Oh yeah, he was talking to me about it. I mentioned being on it in friend server, but then I was just looking through something to find an image I might have needed for a future topic in this. And then I forgot that his tequila bottle, the Buccaneer one in Strive, has a weird reference on it. I don't know.
What's the reference?
So there's a year listed on the bottle that was the same year that a pirate named John Light died. He's also known as John Tardy. And his
That
most
sounds about right for Johnny.
his most famous impact was having his skull he had his skull exhumed and put into a university to study, which is why one of the reasons why we associate pirates with skull iconography so much. John Light's
That's so sick because it's probably like why Johnny has the skull on his card then.
the skull thing has a lot of origins, but John Light's definitely one of them, or at least one of the highest associations with them within the last 200 years. Then again, he was a French pirate, and the only few things he was known for was being ostensibly stupid and having a pretty distinguished coat. Pretty distinguished coat. He had like
That's
a
cool.
navy-colored coat, though, I'm pretty sure.
You know, get the color 11 strive alt, denim alt. I don't know if Johnny has the blue alt in this.
The denim alt's kind of ugly, I ain't gonna lie. That shit brown hat, I'm sorry.
I haven't seen what his hat is. It's brown? That's
It's
a
like
tragedy.
tan and blends into his skin. It's so unfortunate. If it was
He has
just
a
skin
couple
color-
of blue alts in Exerd.
He has some good blue alts in Exerd.
Oh, while we're on the subject of real-world inspirations for Johnny, though, I think besides Johnny Cash, aren't there another, or there's like at least a few other, I think, real-world inspirations that kind of contributed to his design and like his affect and outfit, or am I misremembering?
I mean, might be. The issue
You
is...
said Batman earlier, but that's not a real world thing. That's more of just, haha, funny Batman.
The issue with that is there's so many people named John or Johnny. That's
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do about that? There's, what, Johnny Winter? I'm pretty sure that's one of them.
So
Oh,
many
boy.
people named Johnny, it's almost like, what's my
John
name?
Deacon. And there's, well, Johnny Cash is like the most important one. Because his
Yeah.
thing is also all about luck when it comes to wearing all black. Because his first major performance, he wore all black. There's also the fact that we got Johnny Bravo in the background, who isn't a real life inspiration, but I mean, look at him.
Yeah,
Basically
yeah.
the same guy.
And Johnny Bravo is supposed to be a riff on Elvis, which, oh boy, that's a weird connection to make.
I found out only very recently that the creator of Johnny Bravo is Van Partible, who is this Filipino first gen from the Philippines, and that like it's just a really big part of Filipino culture to like idolize movie stars and stuff, and that's why it's like such a big Elvis inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Or not movie stars, I guess, because Elvis is just like rock stars. I guess.
Celebrities.
Yeah, celebrities.
Which, for Elvis, him wearing all black was conversely very, like, unceremonious for him. Do not look up what he did in those black jumpsuits. I learned and I hated it.
He was pooping in them. No, I'm fucking around.
No, worse. Worse.
Yeah.
I love Johnny's double belt thing. Like, I love that he's got the really, really oversized belt, but it's like he even knows it doesn't work for his pants, so he's got a secret belt underneath.
It works for the ladies. Keeps them away.
I'm so glad someone else made that joke. I'm
He's got
so
the
glad
chastity
someone...
belt on.
No.
My
Him and
friend,
Testament are like chastity belt buddies.
I'm so glad someone else made that joke. My friend was like, "Why does Johnny have two belts to keep the ladies off?"
Extra
Hands
layer.
off, I'm not.
By
You
the
can
way,
look, but you can't touch yet.
something I find really sad, kind of sad, but in like a pathetic way, pathetic funny way. Excerpt for May's instant kill. Johnny has some very choice lines. One of them implies that all the women who like sleep with him just kind of do it so they can rob him of his money.
Oh my
Really
goodness.
silly.
That sounds about right for his
convinced.
joke, so.
He's full rock
He does
with
have
it.
a quote-unquote harem according to that same instant kill, but I'm convinced it's just a bunch of women that are like really just gonna nab him and grab him and then leave.
Yeah.
Johnny is the joke of, I can't hang out with you losers. I've got a date with a beautiful woman, and then he wakes up the next morning and it's like his organs are harvested, he lost his clothes, he's got nothing.
My
Word for
identity has
word,
been
he says,
stolen.
"Have I been hustled again?"
Again. Yeah, we spoke about it in the first recording, but I really like imagining him as being like a Gap Moe type where he's constantly making these advances on people and trying to act really smooth, but then the moment he's shown any attention, he's like kind of fumbles or he's like, well, I didn't expect to get this far. What are we doing? But yeah, no, I think he's such a fun guy for that reason.
Jaden, I know you spend a lot of time thinking about it, or at least you did, and I just wanted to know like what you had to think about with Johnny with respect to May and Bridget and like that whole situation. I know you really like Johnny as like this father to them.
I like elaborate more if I could ask.
Well, I mean, besides the fact that you write fanfics with them, and the fact that like you spend a lot of time like, oh yeah, Johnny would be this really cool like if May ever had a problem, like, she could go to Johnny about it, and Johnny would support her no matter what, and, like, oh, maybe Johnny could help out with Bridget, like, when she came out, and things like that. Like, oh, he's just this really cool, supportive guy in their life. I know you, like, thought about that a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I could only, like, hope so. Of course, like, it takes, like, Johnny, like, single-handedly, like, overcoming, like, his many issues that he does have as a person.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's just, like, what it is, I guess. I don't know, I don't have much to add to it, I'm sorry.
No, no
Okay.
worries.
Okay.
Well,
Did you have
while
anything you
we're-
wanted to bring up in general? Like, I just want to make sure you have, like, enough time to talk if you wanted to.
I'm okay.
Okay.
While we're on the subject of character relationships, though, I know we spoke a little bit about his relationship with May, his relationship with Coom, and his relationship with Testament and Dizzy. But I just wanted to circle back really quickly to kind of the thematic overlap between him and Faust, where it's like, you know, they seem kind of on the surface like two characters that really wouldn't get along. But especially based on the conversation that we've had already, I think it really elucidates how they're a lot more similar than you might think at first glance, where they're both really heavily committed to protecting the innocent, or like, you know, specifically ensuring that like children in need or in danger are as safe or as happy as they can feasibly make them. And they have their own sort of distinct methodologies for tackling that and their own motivations for it. But I just think that that's really cool that we have these two characters that are like, oh, this is similarly important to me, despite both of us kind of coming from very different walks of life. And then sort of that cool friendship blossoming from there.
Well, there is... Okay. Johnny's, like, relationships with other men, including Faust. I think Faust, seeing Johnny in such a vulnerable position, like, this man was up on his birthday looking for help for his kid.
Yeah,
Seeing
that's
him
one of the
spoke
sweetest
to
things
Faust.
ever. Like,
Johnny's
Johnny's very
birthday-
self-sacrifice.
Johnny's birthday is used as a landmark a lot to show the outcomes of luck on his life, and meeting Faust was a direct product of that because they hadn't really interacted majorly before that.
Mm-hmm.
The desire to save young girls, see them have better lives, see them grow up. Faust lost out on that chance while Johnny gives out that chance. Which
Yeah.
is
Oh, I haven't even connected
hidden
the
space.
fact that, like, Faust's whole reason for going on is to save young girls because, like, of the one girl that he lost, and the fact that Johnny is actively out there doing that, like, that's probably a reason why Faust respects Johnny and is willing to, like, help him, besides being, like, this altruistic doctor kind of character.
It probably taps into what he used to be like pre-bald head to him. It's a little sad to think
I
about.
love that we can say things like pre-bald head.
Only in
Thinking
Guilty
more,
Gear.
though. Johnny has like a few other like parallels. There's two other ones that I think get kind of teased at, but then they just kind of go to waste. There's
Yeah.
Leo, and then there's potentially Soul. Potentially. Him and Soul are like pretty similar on paper, and then just go about it in entirely different ways, which I think
Not to Fujo out, but Johnny Leo goes
the
insane.
heliogenomes.
Oh my god.
Oh no, we don't talk about those, not yet anyway, but...
Mhm.
Oh, I also really wanted to bring up the fact that Johnny takes a selfie with the president and then takes like the president's like official aircraft. Like he's just got these connections. Like he's connected with like Vernon. He's connected with Gabriel. He's connected with Kai. Like he's got eyes everywhere. Leo.
Somehow everybody knows this weird guy.
He's pretty weird, I think he just shows up.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you're that criminal, but you're not that evil, so I guess you're fine. You look
Exit
polite.
Marketing did something really weird, right? Where, of course, every character has their associated rival, right? Johnny
Yeah.
lost his, like, rival character with... Even though, Kuraba was never playable and not really present as an enemy, Kuraba was always that character for him, and ever since, kind of fell into the backseat, we got Leo, and Exert Marketing really pushed Johnny and Leo as, like, rival characters, and they're next to each other in a lot of marketing.
Which
And
is
it
crazy because
works.
it's not like they're the most important to each other or in general, but it's
It's
like
very
I get.
weird.
Not to disparage Leo at all, but Daisuke is on record for saying that Leo is the character he cares the least about, and that like he just does not care for at all.
Mhm.
So
That's funny.
I wonder if that has anything to do with like, oh man, we ran out of someone to put with Johnny. Just put Leo there. That'll work.
Yeah.
Even worse when you think about in Strive how Giovanna has like this whole backstory with Johnny and probably is exes with him. You can't convince me that they aren't exes with how they talk to each other. And
They
then
do have exes dynamic.
She says with Johnny she has no spark anymore, and then she looks at Leo and goes like crazy. And I think the push.
Oh, is
for
that
Johnny,
meant to be like, oh, he's a better man than you kind of thing?
I think it is, but it's like such. It's so poorly done. I feel a little bad because Leo and Johnny could be genuine foils to one another.
That was it. Jaden, I know you had a lot of thoughts about Johnny's arcade mode in Strive. Did you want to talk about that at all?
I'm okay.
We don't
like-
talk about that.
Yeah.
Ugh, that arcade mode was such a waste. For
I'm
all
a
the
cumulonimbus.
No, it was fun, but it's such a waste.
I know.
I
We
was
finally get the
expecting-
moment everyone was waiting for, and it's Johnny finally going to tell May, stop being in love with me, I'm your father. Like, we're not doing an anime trope here. And
That
he doesn't
is,
have the
like-
courage to do it. He just
I-
says,
Oh
no.
boy.
The whole bit with him and Maze, it's like, it's so old. Not even old, it's just like, I think it was a product of its time of early thousands anime culture where it's like, aha, the little girl character likes, like, her adopted dad, that's kind of... And then they just haven't abandoned it at all, like, it's just still here for some reason. It's just a little weird, I guess.
Oh boy.
Eye-rolling, I guess.
My expectation for the arcade mode was that it had something to do with Nagoriyuki because, you know, not only
Yeah.
because Nagoriyuki was a prevalent boss character for almost all the arcade modes up until like the end of season 1, I'm pretty sure, but also the fact that that's fucking Yasuke. That's literally just fucking Yasuke.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like the only other like samurai besides like Baiken and Izuna, Rip to Izuna, Fly High. But like,
We've got like 4 samurais in Guilty Gear. It's crazy how they all play differently, though.
Izuna who?
Eventually,
Izuna's not real. GG2 didn't happen.
Rest in peace.
he'll be
Sasuke
coming eventually. He'll be coming.
Johnny's
won't forget.
trailer shows him and Nago having like equal hits each time, and those trailers do like contribute to future story beats minorly, which I think the framing for that's interesting. If they do clash, I'd be so happy if they met. But the arcade mode was such a utter waste, and Johnny's slowly devolving into this gag character that I don't really agree with anymore.
Yeah. I think a lot of us were expecting so much more. It's like, oh, he's like, he'll be doing something, and it's like, no, he's still just a gag character.
Strive is being weird about it, by the way, because they, in his bio, say that he wants to cure the Japanese. Don't acknowledge it in his arcade mode. Don't even have Faust in his arcade mode. Faust doesn't even have any unique dialogue with him in the intro.
Faust doesn't have unique dialogue with anyone. I think it's that, I forget what his name is, Greg Chun. I think they just don't have him in the booth anymore, which is
You
kind of
mean
sad.
Kaiji Tang?
Oh, Kaiji Tang, that's it, thank you.
Kaiji Tang's pretty active, though. He's been pretty active in JJK. Which, you know, you take what you can get, I guess, but it's really so awkward. What was I gonna... Okay. So, okay. When Johnny has all this stuff set up, and you look at the Jellyfish Pirates, like, GG World entry, it doesn't even list him as the captain anymore. It just lists May as the captain with a question mark by it.
Yeah, no, Johnny has lost his position as captain, and because now he's just off chasing Giovanna and chasing girls as a full-time hobby, which I think is kind of funny on some level, but it's also like, come on, you're like, what is Johnny
He's
doing
respect on
anymore?
my boy.
Giovanna at all. She has made it clear that he's, like, you know, not one in that regard. And it's more of a matter of, we used to be something, and now we're not.
I can't believe he fumbled Giovanna.
I think it was a mutual fumble, because they both have their own issues with how they perceive
do.
love.
Yeah.
Plus, Giovanna has, like, a bunch of, all her text relates to some virgin deific figures or groups within her outfit, which kind of clashes with her character. It might be intentional, probably is. But, like, Strive Johnny's just such an utter waste. He doesn't even have, like, an image on his GG World page. Every
He
other
doesn't?
character does. He does not. He
That's
had to, like,
insane.
pull that out of the files for the wiki, I'm pretty sure.
They couldn't get the angle right for him, so he didn't want them
I'm
to take
pretty
it.
sure.
The
It's just
mysterious
weird.
J.
It's so weird. He's kind of like neglected in Strive, and I don't know what that means for him.
I think it's just that Daisuke himself just sees like Johnny as like a gameplay function where it's like, okay, I want Johnny to be this cool character in gameplay, and then like outside of story, he's just not thinking of him, which is kind of a shame because I think Johnny's really fucking cool, as does everyone else on the planet.
As a veteran character, he's like, I kind of hate that I got attached to him. Fuck.
No, don't feel guilty at all.
No.
I think part of the appeal of having characters that don't do too much in canon is that you can build your own stories with them in your own head and imagine what they can do and like what they could say to other people and things like that. I definitely feel that with some characters that I like. Literally, my favorite character since I was maybe like 13 years old is a character from League of Legends, and they are never touching his ass ever again, so...
Oh boy. I just don't want Johnny to be like left in the dust. I've seen some people go like, oh, he's gonna retire. Absolutely not. That's not even in character for him. Don't make him go through retirement. He doesn't even have fun for it. He's gonna go whatever he has in mind. That IRA is going out the mods.
I don't even know what like a future Guilty Gear may even look like. I'm wondering if it's gonna go like a Third Strike New Gens route where it's like, oh, everyone gets their successor, so we'll see like maybe little Johnny with Johnny's style or something. Maybe May will get a samurai sword.
Oh boy.
I mean, she already has them, Senga.
She does. Her imitating him is really cute though. Trying to play in the big leagues like your dad.
In Plus R, everyone has an EX mode, and in May's EX mode, she has Mistfinder. And like,
wait, really?
yeah, she holds onto her the rim part of her cap and looks away and has like a little heart coming out of the end of the Mistfinder. It's really
that's
cute.
so cool, actually.
That's really dope as fuck.
So wait, what's EX Johnny like? Is it just like he gets infinite coins or something like that?
No, he doesn't have infinite coins. He doesn't have a wave dash. He kind of like hovers like Testament. His 6K has a follow-up that's like him jumping up and doing Divine Blade as well. I'm trying to remember what else he has.
It doesn't sound that much better than regular Johnny.
It actually isn't, because Mistfinder isn't just a strike anymore. It's actually a counter. Yeah, so it's
really building into the anime archetype of like, calculate your next move.
Yeah, one of the nice things though about it is that when you do the Mistfinder stance, you can hold the button, right? But you can switch between each of the Mistfinders by tapping. So let's say you do Mistfinder middle, then you can press S to go low, or you can do, and he just holds it. But he like does like the the sound, and he moves his hands again. So it shows you that he's switching which Mistfinder you're actually holding. It's not, honestly, when I tried it, I couldn't really find anything. I couldn't figure out how to play it. I was like, I don't know what to do, bro. I'm sorry. This is not it.
He's too good with his hands now. Shit.
Completely unrelated question. What would you say is the best EX character? I'm fully unaware of all the EX characters in Plus R, so...
Gol Potemkin.
What does he do?
He has Sasquatch Hop. Have you ever seen Vampire Savior?
Oh yeah.
Wait, he has no,
Yeah.
don't, no.
Yeah, he has that.
Let's put Sasquatch into Guilty Gear.
Those aren't tournament legal, by the way. Don't do that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gol Potemkin is pretty nuts. Gold Johnny, I think Mistfinder is an insta kill. I actually don't know all of them. I haven't messed with all of them, but they're pretty nuts. But yeah, tackle the topic about May imitating Johnny. I don't know. I think that's great when like characters have homages to people who were really big inspirations for them, like May having in Senga and Mistfinder and.
I really like that's part of what they did for Sin, where it's like, oh, now he's got Tyrant Rave now, and he has Ride the Lightning. I mean, he don't have Ride the Lightning, but he's actually like taking aspects of Soul now. It's cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
one thing I
is.
actually just remembered. May in Plus R actually has Jack Hound, and it's better than Johnny's. What she does is, you know how he zips across the screen, right? She tries to do the same thing, but she trips and falls. She trips and falls, and it launches the opponent. It's actually a lot better than Johnny's.
That's so cute though. He started a cycle.
It kind of reminds me of how in Strive they gave her Split, where she jumps off the dolphin and has like a lot of increased mobility options. It's not a strike at all, but it just reminds me of that.
We need to give May Mistfinder again. Let her fuck it out.
True.
I think now is the time where we can start talking into a really critical part of Johnny, which is his music. And I don't think I can ever listen to Original Bet ever again without thinking of the one meme where it's like, every anime image ever replaced with Johnny's exit render.
Yeah. When that was going around. No, that
Then there's,
completely overrode my brain.
Do not look at this harlot, brother. We have Johnny
Yeah.
combos to
We have
grind.
Johnny
The liquor bar and drunkard implies that he's this hard crack. Can we please?
You know who came up with that route, right? Race?
What, yeah, that's Sky Bandy, isn't it?
That actually wasn't a Sky Bandy route. The chip touch of death isn't a Sky Bandy route. That's a Young Moist route.
Oh my god!
Young Moist route. And the
Moist
original
Johnny.
video. The original video is set to Ram Ranch 4. Thank you, Young Moist. Fuck you, Young Moist.
That's very fitting.
Ram Ranch.
It's just so interesting before Johnny even got added to Strive, like, just Exert Johnny as a whole, besides being top 1, just the amount of memes that came out of that. And Original Bet as a song is just so good.
It's really good.
It
It's
is.
really
I
fun.
love how much of Liquor Bar and Drunkard is in that song.
Yeah.
Except for the crack cocaine part. We need to confirm we need to crack again. Please.
Look,
So
Talking about
Johnny-
dry
the
martinis, chicks in
Yeah.
Lamborghinis.
I won't
Johnny,
get hated
Johnny.
if I say that Original Bet is better than Liquor and Drunkard, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it's better. If I had to rank okay. If I had to rank Johnny themes, oh boy,
I love Justine.
I'd actually say my favorite is Exceptional Routine Work. That's my favorite.
That's the Isaka one, or Korean?
Pretty sure it's his theme with I think either May or Dizzy and X.
Yeah, that's Isuka.
Oh, Iska. There we go.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. But yeah, Exceptional Routine Work. That's pretty good. It's not
You guys
talked
heard
about a lot.
Have you heard his Korean theme, Desert Dust?
I
Oh,
know.
I have
God,
not, but I
Desert
will when I
Dust.
edit this video, so...
It's
I don't
really
even really
good.
remember remember what it sounds like. When I think of the Korean OST, the one that always comes to mind is Robokai's and Baiken's, because Baiken has NASCAR drift noises in her.
Oh, it is, like,
theme.
hard.
But yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, I don't know. It took a while for Justine to grow on me, and the more I hear it, the more I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
no, same here.
Lean.
I
Oh boy,
really
Just
like
Lean
that.
is like
I really like how much now he sounds like he's slurred in Justine. Like, it sounds like a kind of like country drawl. And for me, it was an immediate love. Justine is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. And real viewers will know, I actually have a cover of that on my YouTube channel that's unlisted, and I will never list it ever again. But, you know, it's on there if you can somehow find it.
I listened. Okay. I listened to it once. It was pretty nice.
Thank you. I really like Johnny's theme. It's definitely my car song.
Oh god, I remember when Justine leaked, like, I think a day or two before he dropped. I was like, listening to it, it was nice. It's definitely a Johnny theme. The fact that it lacks introspection is a little sad until you realize it's a bar song, and that everyone who's singing is just like a drunk-ass dude at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I always kind of like that.
fun folk
Johnny's is the only theme in the whole game where he does not use like I pronouns. Like he's framing it as like someone else is talking about him, but he's the one narrating that. And the fact that he's like,
Folk hero
oh,
song.
all sisters, daughters, and mothers, you know, they all adore me, and I will save all of them. Like, oh, this fucker.
Fun thing about that.
Casanova.
Fun thing about that. God of Failure. I was very interested in that particular phrase, and if you look up God of Failure, I found like albums from certain indie artists, but it looks exactly like Johnny if you look at it, and I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. There's like a cloaked figure with a big hat, wears all black. It's a little scary, and it was, I think, a year or two before Johnny dropped in Strive. There's a weird amount of stuff in there.
I like seeing the two whiffed misfires from both Johnnies, where it's like, okay, we're just both covering the entire screen and missing.
I'm a little sad. It's so impersonal, though. I mean, he's not a very personal character when it comes to, like, you know, everything.
I'm not the biggest Johnny fan in the world, but I personally really like how impersonal his theme is. Like, I think it speaks so much to him, and I think it also speaks to, like, how much he's not... Like, he just doesn't do that level of introspection that, like, oh, you have Leo doing, you have Eno doing, Baiken, like, he's just not that kind of guy.
He's
I like how much he's gassing himself up with his own theme. It's endearing.
It is. I just wish we got some personal stuff, because Johnny's one of those characters who almost never seems to get that sort of attachment towards him. It's very rare. Exert spoiled us with Johnny content, and then they just never did it again.
Don't worry, dual rulers will drop, and Johnny will have to
Watch
be there
him
because
not
Dizzy
be
is
at
getting
the
married.
wedding. Watch Soul Walker down the aisle, that bum-ass father.
They're both bums in their own unique ways.
At least Johnny raised her for like a year or something, even if it was
Look.
like a year or two.
Johnny ain't the stepfather. Johnny's the father who stepped up.
Yeah.
True.
For like all of 5 minutes, and then he got busy.
Yeah. He's like, all right, job's done.
This reminds me of
Do
the
what I
drama
could.
CDs where he like tells her, "Hey, do you have your toothbrush and everything?" That was
Aww.
cute. Drama
He's very
CDs.
sweet. He's always looking out in the small details.
Drama CD Johnny is like one of my favorite things to look at. I remember, was it Night of Knives? I'm not sure. I never remember the drama CD names, but the one with Melia and the little baby King Salteria. The
Yeah,
fact that he knew
helps get the
foster
kid.
homes that could actually like foster a baby boy.
I think the role of Johnny in Guilty Gear, besides being the coolest motherfucker ever, is that he's supposed to be the guy that you go to when you need the job done, which is kind of like an assassin thing, but it's actually like, oh no, he's like the guy in the body shop where it's like, oh, my car's broken. He's like, no, I got you. I'm gonna take care of it. You just sit down. Like, he's the one that provides transportation for everyone in Exerd. He's the one that's constantly trying to make sure his kids are happy and healthy. He's just also a little immature in gambling and you know, all that other stuff, but he's a very reliable, good person, despite being a criminal.
He's in everything, man. When Daisuke just needs someone there, he's like, okay, let's just slide him in. It is kind of funny. Just a skosh. Ooh.
I also just really like some of the language that's used in Just Lean, where Johnny isn't saying, oh, I'm interested in women, or oh, I want to have a girlfriend, or anything like that. He says it in, like, grandiose way of, like, half the world has my love. Like, very Sanji-esque.
I mean, his win quote against Slayer is him asking for tips on, like, being more appealing because he's got half the world's population riding on him.
What was it that he said? I take tips from gentlemen I entertain.
I'm raising my eyebrow
Yeah.
like,
Well, I was saying, what did he mean by this?
What do you mean by
What did
this?
bro mean by this?
He accidentally flirts with guys every so often. I think that's funny.
Is
Yeah.
it an accident?
I mean, if you're gonna flirt with anyone, Slayer's a good choice. Of course,
Slayer's
you're not gonna
a
get
good
far.
choice.
he's definitely winning now with Testament.
Oh,
Correct.
I have feelings about Johnny Test that I won't get into, but I personally don't like it.
I know, a lot of people just ended up turning Testament into a woman when they do Johnny and Testament, which is a bit of a shame because I think it also helps to, like, derail some of Johnny's perceptions of women if he's in a relationship with Testament. But a lot of people just turn it into, okay, Testament is my woman now, kind of thing. Oh, my big goth bitch.
The issue is, people self-insert via Johnny when the whole thing is him parroting the men who self-insert themselves into characters like him.
What they don't realize is that Johnny is the woman in this relationship.
I think more than anything, Johnny ships are so bare bones that we pick at what we can get.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any good ships with anyone because the two predominant ones are the ones that are really goonery from the main artists who do it, if you know, you know, and then May. I have beef with that.
Yeah, a little
No,
bit
it's
of a
just-
tragedy.
Johnny May is like
That's
really
just-
prevalent for some reason. We should let it die.
It's been around for 30 years, so unfortunately I don't think it's gonna die, despite me being like, I don't like it at all. I just block
Yeah.
anyone that does it. It's like, whatever.
Same, like you can't really do it. And it's like you have to like vet every Johnny artist, you know? Because then they draw him and May and it's like you can tell almost sometimes. And it's like, okay. Johnny ships are just a dry well. I think we should just
Mill. All
rid of
my
it at the
homies
stake.
hate Mill.
Fuck Mill. Oh,
Yeah.
God. But yeah, he's one of those characters where, despite having romanticism at the core of his character, like Elfelt, I think he lacks many ships that can really convey that well. It's kind of ironic. By the way, Elfelt thinks he'd be an abusive, like, trailer husband, which...
And Elfo's
Cool.
interested in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, one last question relating to gameplay, and then maybe we'll start looking into closing things out. Elfelt is the other notorious top 2 contender in this game, although I guess maybe top 5 in comparison with Venom, Faust, Eno, and the like. But how is the Johnny Elfelt matchup at all? Because it's something I've definitely seen in a lot of Exer top 8s and things like that, so...
Johnny wins. I'm just bad at it.
That's a funny way of putting that.
Honest top tier meme.
Johnny wins this primarily because he doesn't have to approach Elfelt. Elfelt has to approach him, right? When Johnny has to approach someone, he struggles due to the linearity of his forward movement and the sheer commitment that he has to make when he dashes. Elfelt's used to setting up situations where people have to approach her, but now she has to approach him.
I see. So what is round start like? Do you really just like backdash and FS?
No. It's still an RPS. Because if I backdash, she's got 2H. If I FS, she's got 2H. If I 2D, she's got far slash. But my 2D smokes her 2H. If I coin, it smokes her far slash. If I 6P, it smokes her far slash. But then we just get into all these niche situations where it's like... Round start is an RPS soup.
Are you able to misfind or Pineberry at all?
Yes.
That's insane.
I mean, you can knock it away by pressing 5P.
I didn't know if it like deleted it at all though, because I know like Misfinder has that property.
It can burst Pineberry, but just knocking it away is fine because now Elfelt has to either approach without it or cede space to you. And giving up space is bad, especially when Johnny can just walk people into the corner.
Alright, and outside of that, I can't think of anything else on my note sheet to talk about. You guys have any like closing thoughts before we round out the video?
Ooh, yeah. Can we talk about one final thing? For a character who loves women so much, I think he accidentally imparted misogyny onto his kid.
I think so as well.
Oh, wait, you think like May hates women, or?
May is so judgmental towards other women and demeans them because she wants, like, Johnny to value her even though she doesn't understand why he doesn't value her romantically. It's a little sad.
It's interesting, but I feel like they forgot that character trait in Strive, because in another story, she has a very good relationship with April, Delilah, and Viken, so... or maybe it's just those are all unapproachable women to her, so...
I think those are all women who are either family to her, younger than her, so not really a worry. And for Viken and Exer, there was that bonding moment between Viken, Haehyun, and May.
True, yeah, I forgot that they had that whole section where they saved the colony together.
So she doesn't view them as threats, and she kind of conveniently doesn't have to deal with that in Strive anymore. This is more of a May thing, but it is unfortunate that the character who loves women so much hasn't really been honest with his kid to the point where she is starting to poke at other women. A little sad.
Yeah.
It's okay, May. Other than that, rippling abs. Rippling abs.
Other than that, I just want to say, for the short time that it existed, I was so glad to have a winning matchup on Eno and Strive, because you could just HCL all day long and a bad Johnny won't know what to do about it. But then they made his dash block really good, and Mistfinder's gonna have some interesting properties, so we'll see how the next patch goes.
All those winning matchups will be lost like tears in the rain.
My closing thoughts? Did y'all know that 6H is jump cancelable?
That's especially powerful now that those are getting taken out of Strive, so it's more reason to go back to Exit for people.
I don't think you can jump cancel 6H and strive at all to begin with, so...
Oh, I just meant like the Kara changes for all the other characters.
Yeah.
Oh, Rip Potemkin.
Yeah.
Rip
That is so
Potemkin.
funny. Every Potemkin player I've ever known in my entire life is on suicide watch on my dash right now.
Yeah.
Johnny already calls him smelly, and now this.
Fucked up.
Raze, you got any final thoughts?
Oh no. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no prob. Jaden, got anything left to say?
Nothing more. I don't think.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I really do like, Dee pointed this out before we even started recording, the fact that on Johnny's Dust Loop wiki, the only listed con is that he's a high technicality and high, like, execution type character.
I like the way it's phrased specifically, where it's called awareness. If you don't have awareness, you can't main Johnny, but everything else is a pro.
You just have to be a cool motherfucker to play this guy.
You have to be good at video game to play Johnny.
Yeah.
And with
That's all.
that has been Talk to Me About Johnny. Tune in next time. I think next week we'll be talking about Justice, which will be really interesting. I can't
Oh
wait
my
to hear
lord.
from the Plus R mains about that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you guys all for coming onto here. Bye!